Welcome to episode 51 of Night Thrice, a podcast where three longtime friends are going to give you a top three countdown in the three topics of the month. The topics this month are going to be tabletop games, movies and TV, and season appropriate, the holiday season. That's right.
Fun little mix-up. I like that. Looking forward to that one.
A little twist in there. I do have one in each category, so be prepared.
I got to figure out a tabletop.
I
Somebody
actually
quick.
skipped a category.
Whoa, you
I
skipped a category.
Just said, get out of here.
I might have to do
kinda-
the
like
where your
same,
head's
unless I
at.
can think of something. But all right.
I am barely holding it together. I have just woken up from a fever dream, literally. I was in a fevered state the last few days,
It's
and
true.
we'll see if I can make it through this podcast. I'm sure your guys' company will keep me wide awake.
Guys,
Let's
Ben-
hope so.
are you drinking anything? What you drinking? Do you have a hot toddy?
I'm big on. I've been big on ciders lately. I don't know why. Maybe because I just
okay.
bought a bunch. It was it was fall in Michigan, so there was a lot of good ciders hanging around.
Hanging. Like you plucked it off a tree.
Right, you pull them from the tree. Yeah.
Right. I don't know what cider this was. I'm not sure, but it was a cider. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Wow, that's great. Ken, are you drinking anything?
Got my usual, which is Surly Furious, which is a rather large IPA that I need to find new friends because this is the only beer I ever drink ever. So I need to branch out.
For my backup, my next drink is a mule beer from Shorts.
Those
I
are
love
delicious.
Shorts.
It's a good finisher. It's 4.5%. I feel like I like a lower alcohol percent for my last drink.
Wind it down.
This very spicy, gingery beer.
It's really good.
It's really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
I have my rosé. This is I like how it's mind and body.
Well, yeah.
Which sounds very lame. But it's a rosé that's like super dry, which I like.
Aren't rosés usually super sweet?
They're usually super sweet, but this one is not, and it's really, really good.
Okay.
So I would recommend that one.
Nice.
It's in the low calorie aisle, which for low calorie, it's delish. Like I don't care
Okay,
calorie wise, it's like this one I just really like the
So
taste.
Mind and Body is the
Mind and Body is the brand.
That's the one. It was on sale the last couple of weeks. It's been $9 a bottle.
That actually
so.
scares me. Whenever it goes on sale for a long time, it's like, because we're getting rid of it.
Right,
And so
yep.
I'm like, uh-oh. So,
Yep. Get the box. Get the
yeah,
box.
right.
The 12 pack.
We'll just, fill up the fridge up there.
Because $9 for a bottle of wine. That's where it's
That's a
at.
steal.
This
yeah.
one's good, too. And anyone who I've ever given them a glass of this, like, really likes it. So, this one's good.
Cool.
But yeah. So, Ken, what's up? How's it going?
I try not
He's
to
dying. He's
throw
dying.
up. Yeah. Not much. We were late today. Our kids have moved into the juniors of Taekwondo as compared to
Ooh.
like the
that's
little
cool.
kid. They went from
Yeah.
little kid to juniors, and which is later classes, and the fact that it's now dark at 4 p.m. It's just like
Oh, my gosh.
it feels like it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's 8, and we're just getting home. And I don't know. I left my poor wife to put them to bed on her own.
no.
So, no.
Oh, no.
I told
Well,
them, you guys made me do it. So I told her.
Yep.
Yeah.
She can totally blame us.
Yeah.
Megan, if you're listening, it's my fault.
Yeah.
100%. Actually, she sent me a thing today that Will was going around the house saying, if you're bored, Mr. Ben would just say, "Why don't you just watch me play Elden Ring?"
Which is like, what?
And I was like, what?
It's because that's when we went on vacation. Elden Ring was in its, you
Prime?
babysat, I think, right?
Elden Ring came out this year in
Yeah,
February.
you're right. What am I talking about? Never
Yeah.
mind.
That was in 2019 when I watched your kids.
What am I? Yeah, never mind.
So-
I don't know where he got that from.
I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
it sounds like something you would say. Let's go play
It does.
Elden Ring.
It does sound like
watch
something I right, but like, why is he saying that now? It's totally funny. But
Yeah,
like,
he remembers you well, I
What
guess.
a weird.
like I said to Megan, I'm just happy he's thinking of me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's got Mr. Ben on his mind.
On the mind, yeah.
Speaking of Mr. Ben, I need your guys' help. I think I am experiencing what might be called burnout.
Midlife crisis.
I
Life. All.
normally I can't settle down. Like I don't like to sit still. I like to keep very busy doing lots of things. Yesterday, I was sick and I knew I was when I went to bed. So I said to Emily, let me sleep in instead of getting up with the kids. And I essentially laid in bed the whole day.
Whoa.
And while I think I probably could have got up, like I was really tired. It felt good to like just lay around all day. What felt even better was just not like I was like hiding
Being
from work.
on. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I think I'm burnt out like
I
big
think
time.
you need a new job.
Totally possible, right?
I'm like afraid of work, and having a day where I was like hiding from it was like felt really good.
that's normal. I mean, I shouldn't say that's normal. What you are describing is burnout.
Yeah.
In the sense that, oh yeah, I get that all the time. Like every 2 months I'll get like I have to take a day where it's just like, I'm out of here. I'm not answering calls. I'm not doing anything. But to lay in bed, I don't think I could do that.
I didn't think I could either, but
Maybe I take breaks. I think I take breaks often enough to where I don't get there, right? You, on the other hand, are someone who absolutely would go until your fingers fell off your hands.
well, and I think
Right,
that's what has
working.
happened.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
You're like
exactly
that.
what has happened.
You're at a late stage burnout where,
We're down to the bone.
yeah. Oh, that sucks. That's an awful feeling, though.
Yeah, I know. I was in like a meeting the other day, and then I felt like somebody like woke me up from my stupor, and I started like yelling at everybody what we should do, and then like everybody like kind of went into action, and I was like, why didn't I just say that in the beginning of this?
Yeah.
Why do we just waste the last 30 minutes where I was like half asleep listening to everybody?
Yeah.
Just
I gotta wake up.
gotta be mean.
No, take a break. Take it easy. Use the sickness to take a break. Sounds like
That's
you
a
already
good
did
point.
a little bit,
That's
but
a good excuse.
burnout is real. It's not a young person excuse to not do your job. How often? I mean, our parents didn't grow up in their 30s with constant, unfiltered
Oh my God.
access to work and every other conceivable thought on the planet is
Yeah.
at my fingertips. Good and bad, right?
If
So
Yeah, mostly
and
bad.
You have to.
Right.
Here's the difference. You have to actively choose
yeah.
to have a quiet time.
Yep.
And quiet,
Yeah.
we can talk about in terms of like audio visual, or we can just talk about like literally like
Literal. Yeah.
mentally, just like
Yeah.
quiet. Like you have to choose to do that. And
Yeah.
then I feel like when we were younger, you didn't have to.
Well,
You didn't have
No.
to make
like
that choice.
now, if you were to rent like some sort of cabin in the woods, and you're like, it doesn't have Wi-Fi, like or whatever.
Man.
Like
that would
now, if
be-
you did that, that is just what our childhood was. Like the
Time
not having like
machine. Yeah.
channels or like certain
Yeah.
things. Like that was just growing up. So
I have a client who every Sunday it's no device, no, like maybe he'll
Yeah,
watch
that's probably
TV,
a
I
good
think,
thing.
but the phone puts it in a drawer, laptop goes in a drawer. I was like, man, that's probably incredibly healthy and intelligent to do.
For sure. I know.
yeah.
Well, my brother was showing the kids. He has this little like case that has a timed lock on it that he puts
like
his
a lock
phone in.
box.
I should do that.
Like when he's got to get work done or whatever, he just puts it in there and sets it for some sort of time. And he's like, I was like, well, is there like what if somebody's calling you or something?
Yeah.
It's important. He's like, I think there's a manual override, but he's like, I didn't look at it.
Good.
I don't know how to get it open.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point,
Well, it does,
right?
Yeah, and it does have a way.
Man,
Like
what's going
you
on?
can, if your phone is up, there's a way to like swipe, so you could like make an emergency call, through it,
Oh, okay, sure.
or like you could answer, but you're not like you can't be like I'm on Instagram or
Right.
whatever.
You're not
Yeah.
pulling it out every 10 seconds just to, it's the same garbage I was looking at 10 seconds ago. Who knew? Yeah.
Exactly.
Who would have thunk?
Right.
Weird.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah, something's happening to my eyes also. I'm like dry, really dry all of a sudden.
Get it together, gang. Well,
Sorry.
Okay, Emily, what have you been up to?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've been running the house because somebody's been taking it easy.
It's been wonderful. And I was really sick. Like
You were really
it was
sick.
weirdly. I was out of
gosh.
commission in a weird way.
That's so foreign to me because I feel like I never get sick completely. It's always like I just feel bad, but the show goes on.
Yeah.
Sorry, we asked you what you were doing.
No,
Emily,
I don't
but-
know. I haven't been doing much at all.
I know. We just wanted you to have to say
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
In the fall, I did all my fall pictures, and I finally got done editing. This is the first week where I haven't had to do all that stuff. So
Nice.
I finally was, I don't know, just trying to not do much. But then you got sick, so then it was like, shit. So
Yeah.
You know what's up?
Perfect timing.
You know
Worked
how I
out really
did.
well.
it
Yeah.
actually did work out good. But
Yeah. Nice.
but yeah, not too much.
Are you guys ready for the monthly D&D update? Because I know
Yeah.
I am.
Is this
You do
part of your
that.
tabletop?
And then
Oh no, this is just every show. I
This
just
is
can't
just
Oh,
his.
resist.
okay. You're just gonna go with it. All right.
And
We're
then
just-
I
we're
do have
just
a
doing this.
question then after that.
You
question
do have
for
a
the pod.
Oh, you have a question for the pod.
But
All right, let's-
you do your update first.
Here's what I'm going to do. Every month we're going to do it while I'm running a campaign. We're going to do a little update on where everybody's at on the story. All right.
That is
So
true.
Okay.
we finally started. Finally.
That's right.
The plan was to have a session 0 in the beginning. Session 0 is sort of like get characters established, get character relationships established. Also, a good time for a session 0 is to be like, what is the tone of the campaign? What is the expectation? Are they heroic players? Are they
Right.
are motives questionable? Can you be?
Wait, so can you tell us really quick who is playing?
So
Just so we can kind of pretend to visualize.
I'm running
people.
the game, and then we have the previous dungeon master, Quinn, is a player,
Okay.
and then previous players Phil and Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have completely new, not just new to our
Newbies.
group, completely new to D&D, Dylan and Stephanie.
Cool.
Okay.
Very
They are a
cool.
couple, very nice, very great to have them in. Brand new, and I mean brand new, though Dylan has done a significant amount of research into this, and I like how excited he is about it. But that was the thing. So we were going to do a session 0 where it's like, there was a couple things about this campaign where it starts out pretty hard. So everybody has heroic level characters, as in they start really strong.
Okay.
And then the other thing was at level 1, because they're going to be level 1 for a little while, they get to start with a feat, or a feat is short for feature. There's a whole section of the
2
player's
feet.
handbook of
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
feats you can take, which are like little skills, little abilities.
Okay,
I
yeah.
told everybody
Okay.
to take Cook. Of course, they didn't. But that's a good example of what a feat's like. So Cook is when you do a short rest, you can make a little snack for everybody, and then they get a little
Okay.
bonus on their next roll.
Yeah.
Nobody
All right.
took cook.
Of course not.
Not
Nobody
even
wants to be
one-
the cook.
Not one cook in the kitchen.
They took stuff like Quinn took stuff that was like gave him extra spells because he's a spellcaster, and so
Sure,
it essentially makes him like a little more powerful as a spellcaster. Phil did a thing where he can do like a shocking grasp, and then that gives him a bonus action unarmed attack. But he's a monk, so his unarmed attacks do extra damage.
Okay.
So they go together well.
Complement
The fighter,
each other. Yeah.
yeah, Stephanie, the fighter, took polearm master. So if you use a polearm style weapon, quarterstaff, spear, halberd, pike, that kind of stuff,
Instant death.
you get to do your main attack, and then you can hit with the butt of the polearm. As a
Ooh.
bonus action, you can do another attack, and it's a D4 damage.
Okay.
So, like, she gets multi-attack, Phil gets multi-attack. They did a lot of stuff like that made them all...
Somebody's gonna be hungry though at some point.
It's going to happen. I'm telling you. I
gonna starve
told
to
them
death.
to take...
Definitely going to happen now, right? Especially now that nobody took it.
Yeah.
You're going to just pencil that in.
Yeah. Make
Right.
a scenario where like, oh gosh, you guys got trapped in a cave, and
bet
guess
you're gonna
what?
wish you had
I
Cook.
bet you wish you had. Yeah.
I just made that joke, well, especially because Cook is from the second expansion book, right? So there's the player's handbook, and then they had Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is the second expansion
Xanathar's
book.
Guide to everything.
And then they had
I know.
Tasha's
I like
that.
Cauldron of something. I don't know. It's like the second
Okay.
expansion to the game.
Okay.
Okay, so what's happening with your game so far? How's it going?
What I wanted to say was, like, what we essentially, that session 0 became session 1 because when it turned out, like, Stephanie was like, I don't know how to play. It was like, well, then all the stuff we
Just
would have
teach
talked
it.
about
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense for us to talk about any of this because you have no context for what any of it would mean.
Yeah, if someone
Yeah.
was
So,
like, "What's your feet?" I'd be
Let's
like,
just
"I don't know what you're
exactly.
talking about."
She would have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, what feet should I take? I don't know what
know.
any of these words mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Then I said, well, let's just get started. So
Okay.
we just started, and they're in a. I'm not going to go into too much detail or unnecessary detail. I'll try not to. They are in a traveling troupe, and for anybody who's read Wheel of Time, think of the traveling folk,
The
Yeah.
right?
color, yeah.
The Tuathawan.
What are
What
the
are they?
traveling
They're
folk
like
from the
gypsies, kind
Kingkiller
of, right?
Chronicles? He's one of them.
Yeah, right. Just like Quoth, you know.
What are they called?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
And he's
Yeah.
always looking for the shoot. I can't. I knew it.
Yeah.
It's at the tip of my
It's
tongue.
important to the
Focus.
story, but I don't remember what it is. Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, you know, they're called the Hanatas, and they're Zodis in the Hanatas. They're just coming of age. They're level 1 adventurers is like above a normal person, right? So
Okay.
they're coming of age in this group of like this traveling folk, and they're supposed to run security at this carnival. It's Dark Tide's Eve, so the Dark Tide is like this sort of like kind of like creepy magical day each year where like some dark stuff happens.
Spooky season.
And then we're right at the cusp of a new year, and the new year is like has been prophesized maybe to be this sort of like dark or scary year for some reason, but it's not obvious why.
Okay.
Is that just hearsay? I don't know. And so it opens up their first day of like up until now, the way I started it off, up until now, maybe they've done some of this, but they've never done it all as a total group of the youngsters, right? Of the young group. This is their first time where they have all the responsibility. They have to run security all by themselves. And as soon as it starts, a crazy bear comes out of the woods right when like a wagon pulls up, and it like the driver gets down to sort of like protect the people that were getting out, and like he immediately gets like KO'd by the bear.
Gosh.
There's some city guards there, and then the players, I was like, roll initiative, right? So they get into a fight with this like mad drunk bear, and like it's obvious that he's drunk.
Is it?
And it became obvious. Yeah, you could smell it on his
Yeah.
breath, and he was acting sort of
He
erratically.
was driving very erratically, right?
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
They take out the bear. There was
A
some
bear crashed his
This is
car.
why I
into
feel
a
like the
tree
three of us
and
could
got
Ben would be
right.
serious, and we'd be like, well,
He's so
like
mad.
You guys would be that kind of stuff would be fun. That's the thing is like you guys would be so fun to
I
play
feel
with.
like we'd ruin your game
It would be awesome.
I'd be like, well, I slashed his tires, and you'd be like, well,
Right.
you can't
He already
do that.
crashed.
Like,
He already.
yeah,
He wrapped his
Right.
Chevy Malibu around a tree trunk.
obviously,
The
drunk.
bear is
Right. He got out of the car. Yeah.
and that's how
and
we
he came
do.
up.
Sorry.
You know, so then the like little boy who was like saved, he's got a hero crush on them. His name is Smedley. He's always picking his nose and following them
Smedley?
around.
Yeah. I don't like the sound of him already.
No, Smedley's no good.
Smedley.
Then the party split up. Half of them went to go follow the bear's trail back into the woods to see like where
did
did
it
this
get
bear
away?
come
Oh, bear's
from.
still going.
Okay.
No, they took the bear out, but like where did he come from?
Oh, okay.
And why
Okay.
was he drunk?
Why?
The other like Kasserine and Chorus. Chorus is a bard, of course. It's an excellent name for a bard. Khours.
Sorry. I'm
Go
not
ahead,
going
go
to
ahead.
interrupt you. Ask me about the D&D movie after you have talked about this.
Oh,
and
okay.
mention
We do
Bard.
actually need to
Mention
okay.
Bard.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write this down.
So Kasserine like hightails through the carnival towards the back to sort of like check out this like thing that was on the map. Chorus goes around the outside of the carnival, sort of like in the direction that the guards went. The other three go into the woods to figure out what was going on with the bear. They eventually find a map and they all, as Chorus goes around the outside of the carnival and they find a map, and they all end up together back at the back end of the carnival in the woods, and it leads them to a well that when they climb down into is
don't do
weird
that.
because at the bottom of the well is not just like water. Actually, it's kind of dried up. But what they find is that something has dug into the well from somewhere else.
Cool.
Go there.
When they go through that opening, they find actually a very sort of like ancient set of corridors, like very old, like thousands of years old.
Yeah.
And what they find in there is a bunch of these weird, like arachnic undead things. They're like not quite spiders. They're sort of like these weird undead creatures. They fight their way through there. They actually find somebody still alive who was in a cocoon that had been captured from the carnival days before.
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, okay.
He disappeared he was gambling. He went out to like relieve himself. No, he went out to relieve himself and disappeared. So everybody's been looking for him. They've been blaming the Hanatas. Again, the Hanatas is the traveling people. So they've been under watch by the town.
Love it. I love that.
They find him in a cocoon in there, ready to be eaten by these spider folk. But they cut their way through the spiders. Eventually, they got their way into a room with a bunch of eggs. Stepped on one. They shouldn't have.
Gosh, who did that?
Phil did. Sideer.
Did he do it on purpose?
Classic.
Well, he shouldn't have walked in there.
Yeah, but Phil seems like he would step on the egg.
He'd be like, oops. I rolled to accidentally
Did I step on the egg? Yeah.
Well, as soon as that egg hatched, those little tiny spiders were screeching and screeching, and they were biting at him and stuff. Well, Big Mama heard them. And then they had to fight the queen. She was like this big giant boss they had to fight.
Oh, man.
It would have been awesome, except the only...
this was actually pretty good.
The only web attack I landed was on one of the characters who, like, seemingly out of nowhere was able to break free from the webbing inexplicably.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, how was she able to just, like, break free? It's like, the weird thing is she had this feeling like that she just couldn't be contained. Like, I don't know. She just broke out.
This is crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Some of the players may listen to this podcast, so I have to be vague with some of these things.
Okay.
But any of my webs that I tried to hit anybody else who they, trust me, would not have broken out of the webs as easily as she did.
Was this when...
They all missed.
Was this when a certain someone, like, had the best role of her life?
Oh my gosh! So Kasserine, Stephanie's,
I feel like this is actually worth.
This is cool. So she's Polar Master. She's got a halberd.
Yeah.
Her like blood touch, which is sort of like everybody in the Hanatas has sort of these like malformations, these like magical malformations that people are like kind of like racist against, and so that's why they kind of end up in this troop.
Okay.
Classic.
Some of them are more obvious than others. Like Seth's character Chorus, he could like go join regular life, nobody would know. But he looks like a regular dude. He's like Fey touched. He's very like slightly elven looking, maybe. He looks like a normal guy.
So it's like Seth? Like I feel like that's just Seth.
Right. It's Seth's character
for real. Like,
he actually
looks like a normal guy.
Fey touched, definitely a wheelie guy. Like he
would also show up
guy.
drunk like the bear. So I mean,
that's true.
He's a little bit.
I feel like if you mixed Quoth and Seth, then you would have Chorus.
Yeah, there we go.
He is a Quoth.
There we go.
You mixed with Seth. That's
perfect.
He's the bard.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So, but her blood touch, she's like ogre touched. So her bonus is that if she rolls a critical hit, she gets to roll an additional dice for her weapon.
Wow.
So normally a critical in 5e is you roll your damage dice twice.
Okay.
So we're playing. I said in the beginning, like we agreed on it. We wanted critical hits to like matter. So the first dice counts as its maximum value.
Okay.
So she rolls a d10 for a halberd. So it was 10. And then she gets to roll another d10. She rolled a 10, and then because of her blood touch, she rolls another d10.
Oh, it's
and then
D10.
she rolled an 8, and then her strength modifier is 4. So she did 32 damage at
cow.
level 1, where
That's
they're normally
insane.
doing
That's
like 5 or 6.
That would kill the boss in most.
So it was what I said was you swing your halberd, but you turn it flat faced before you hit it, and you slap it like it's a cricket mallet, and it explodes. against the side of the wall.
Sick.
Gross.
But I handed her
quick thinking. Good job.
The fun thing about this module that I got is it has these GUI rewards. They're one-time use cards you can hand out for like whatever. Like somebody did something cool. So yeah, I definitely threw her one for that. Like heck yeah, you get a card for that. I don't know what it is. Nobody will tell me.
That's a part of that Penny Arcade game I never played, which was essentially you got in-game rewards for role playing, or where it sort of rewarded exceptional play.
I wanted so bad to play that with you. That was, you picked that up right before you moved.
And
and I was like,
I still have it. Nobody wants it. I should just send it to you.
I want to play it with you, though. That's the thing.
Well,
I want you to run it for us.
I should send it to you, and we should play it on Tuesday when I see you in 4 days.
That's true.
Right,
that's crazy. I forgot.
Can I ship it that fast? Let me write this down.
I don't know. It's Thursday.
Box.
Yeah, I don't know. Michigan mail takes about 4 extra days.
We'll have to read the rules online. Anyway, while you're looking that up, they kill the queen. What I didn't say was, of course, they have pissed off the local guard, and so as they come back from the dungeon, he's having to be paid off by the troop leader, and then Chorus, who did the pissing off, got a little talking to from the troop leader. So that's where we're at. They're bad. They ran through their little dungeon.
That is really cool.
They need to get back on security, but they do get a little break. They're going to get a short rest. They get to go have a meal, and when we pick it up next session, it's time to get back to work. It's time for the fun, because now they just get to hang out at the carnival and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's cool, though, because you've got this little mini adventure, right? The monster of the week, and you've got this overarching, what's up with the drunk bear? That's cool. That sounds so fun.
It's been fun. So I think everybody's having fun. I'm having fun. I am having a lot of fun running it. So both 2 weeks so far have worked out really good. The first session, ended right at the bottom of the well. The second session ended right when they got back to the troop. So like things have kind of just been like working out nice, and
cool.
Yeah,
we'll keep it rolling.
Nice.
Okay. We have a question.
Sorry, can I cut in?
No, Ken.
I was going to say,
your thing first.
Did you see the silly trailer for the new Dungeons and Dragons movie?
I have not. I've seen some of it. I have not seen all
I haven't seen the new trailer, no.
Okay. It's Chris Pine and some dude from Bridgerton and a bunch of people I don't recognize.
Okay.
Looks surprisingly good, but like self-aware, right? Think like Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor 3. Where it sort of knows it's silly, but it can still be cool. It can still be funny, that sort of thing. First trailer came out. It sort of shows, you've got Chris Pine as the leader. He's gathering a paladin and a sorceress and that sort of thing. And he's just the planner. They make a joke about him being the planner. I was like, okay, looks fine. They came out with another trailer, and it's a lot of the same. They sort of they focus more on the roles. It's like, here's the paladin, here's the wizard, here's the thief, and so what are you? You're the planner, and it just has this glimpse of him like skipping like towards the camera, and he has the little lute. So I thought they were going to play him like some sort of really cool, it's Captain America, whatever. He's the bard, though. So clearly, I'm really looking I'm sure the movie's going to be bad, but I'm really looking forward to him.
I don't know, man.
You could have this just crazy action scene, right? And he's down there like, or whatever it is,
That's
it just seemed really funny to me.
It's got to be throwing out that bardic inspiration. I will say, in the last session, there were more buffing dice thrown around through bardic inspiration and bless and guidance than I have seen in the entire rest of the time I've ever played 5th edition. There was more buffing happening in that one session. I was kind of like, oh, I guess that's how you play a cleric and a bard. Like when we and Phil were the cleric and the bard, we never helped anybody once.
Wow. That really shows.
Good.
But it was Dylan and Seth, and they were like, here you guys go. There was like a million. One time Stephanie rolled a nat 1 on her D20, but she had 3 more dice to roll.
That's insane.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to, you don't critical fail on that, I guess. Like there's a million dice stacked on top of that.
Awesome. Cool.
Fun so far.
This is for the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is question music. Okay. If you could turn a D-list movie into a board game, which movie would it be?
Oh,
I have a list real quick.
Yeah, run them past us.
Here we
real
go.
Quick.
So I'll just say them kind of quick, but Mortal Engines, Jupiter Ascending, Valerian and City of 1,000 Planets, Downsizing. God, that movie sucks. Cats, The Polar Express, The Green Lantern, The Mummy with Tom Cruise, Sahara, The Great Wall, Star Trek, Insurrection, 2012, Poseidon.
Did we watch Star Trek Insurrection?
No.
We did that when you were gone.
You were
one time
gone
with
one time.
Quinn.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
San Andreas, Mulan, Season of the Witch, and Gemini Man.
Gosh.
That's a long list, though.
I'm going to say
sorry.
Mortal Engines. Not because of the concept of cities eating cities.
It would be cool to be like, you could stack someone, if you take someone else's city, like stack it onto
and
yours.
I'm thinking most of the cities that you eat are NPC, right?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Where you're sort of.
But like you get stronger as you're like eating.
Or maybe you build a fast one or whatever. It could be, I think that could be super simple, but also really complex if you wanted to make it that way. Like you're out of coal, you can't move, or whatever stupid. I don't know. That would be cool. That's
Right, and like
question.
as you eat more cities, your city there's
base,
more. You build
you're
it somehow.
occupying
There's
more. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be
But you're
cool.
slower. You're like, because we're like big and sluggish.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right?
Mortal Engines.
I feel like
sure.
that has to be the best one.
Magic or Mike. Oh, I didn't put Magic Mike on there.
Magic Mike.
Oh yeah,
is
we
one
forgot.
of
This
them.
whole
We
episode
forgot
is
that.
about. We're here to celebrate the announcement of Magic or Mike. Magic Mike 3.
Magicist Mike.
Oh my god, I watched that trailer.
Magic Mike 3 Magicist
trailer.
Mike.
It looks really bad.
But the trailer made
Looks
it look
great.
like
I don't know
they
what
were
you're talking
hoping like they would get an Oscar.
It's
So
a
the way
romance
they're like
movie now. It's like
so
a
weird.
rom-com.
I'm all about it.
But no, it was like a serious romantic movie.
Yeah,
Like the way it showed it. Like there was nothing fun about it.
Yeah.
It was like, why are you stopping my dream? Like stuff like that. And you're like, are we talking about the same dream that we talked about in the first one? Because I don't.
How does Big Dick Richie fit into this complex relationship?
Well, we don't have the context. We haven't watched Magic Mike 2 Magic or Mike.
Big Dick
So we
Richie.
don't know Magic Mike 3 Magicist Mike.
Maybe Big
it doesn't
Dick
make any
Richie
sense to
danced
us.
up on her. Anyway,
I don't know.
back to Mortal Engines. So instead of I guess it's still resource management, but instead of earning resources, you're burning resources. So you're just trying to not run out of stuff somehow.
Right.
That'd be really cool.
You run out and you like come to a halt.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's some other
And then other
gameplay
people can
mechanic
come get
to
you
like,
if that-
yeah.
Yeah.
Get eaten.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I feel like
ran
we
out.
just made a good.
I want to play
Couldn't ran out.
I want
have
to play
to agree.
this.
That I don't see any other one that
That would be awesome.
No, unless you, yeah, I don't know how you would do it.
no.
Most magic.
You have who can
Magic
strip
Michael.
tease the best.
The
and,
most
like,
magical Michael. XL.
the most magic.
Michael XL.
Oh, God. I don't know why that was so. That's the one that got me. I don't know about any of the other movies except for maybe like The Great Wall would be some sort of like cooperative.
It would be very
Yeah,
like,
it would be
Sun or
cooperative. You'd be
something.
somebody would be the blue
be the-
people, somebody
Oh,
would be the
that's
red
true, yeah.
people,
Cool.
somebody
That'd
would
be
be the
fun.
green. I'd always be the blue, obviously.
What was the
Are blue the ones that dive down and die?
the
Yeah.
women who just get eaten? We just
Somebody
blow
plays the
women over.
heroes, which is like just Matt Damon and his buddy.
Yeah.
What does he say? I could use the rest.
I could use
that-
the rest.
And that's like a.
That
That's
was
like
when
an
they
act.
were like,
What?
Or do you have
that's
to
when
play?
they
It
said
says I
like
could
you
use
almost
the rest?
died, and it
Yeah.
was like, well, I could use.
Oh,
the
it's like a card. It's in quotes. I could use the
Right,
rest. And
right.
it's
For,
like,
resetting resources. or
regain
something.
1 unit at each
Yeah, it's fluff
wall
text.
location.
It's fluff text. Think of like a Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah.
It's got a picture of Matt Damon. It
Oh,
says
that'd be so
plus
good.
2 health,
Yeah.
skip a turn. And then in quotes, italicized, I could use the rest.
Right. Yeah. Plus 2 health, skip a turn. I could use the rest. It'd be so good. All right. I kind of want to play Great Wall now, too.
I'll tell you what, I got to write this down. I bet there's a company out there that makes custom Magic the Gathering cards. And I'm going to
Oh,
have
yeah.
a Matt Damon.
I could use the rest.
It needs to be like, and it's a still from the movie, and it's him like
Right.
mid sentence
Oh, yeah.
saying
Then
that.
it needs to be, I
How
need
about him
somebody, I'm
coming
going to have to
down that
pay somebody
chain?
to concept it, art it. Yeah. Chain ride. Plus 3 to whatever.
Right. Plus 3 to attack. Or like surprise. You get a
Chain
surprise
ride.
round on
Yeah.
So
1 extra turn.
what?
chain
okay,
ride.
we don't need to talk about the movie, but what made even less sense is he.
Somebody Instagram sent me like a Marine or something climbing on a rope like that.
Oh, really?
And-
Like down it though?
Well, no, across, right?
Okay.
So,
It's like,
and
really?
the majority of his weight is below the rope because he
Okay.
hangs his legs over it, right?
Yeah. See,
And
that
so
makes
he's
more
not
sense.
Whereas in the movie, he's on it like
His
a
legs
sled.
are like in the air.
Yeah. Anyway,
What doesn't make sense is once he gets to the bottom, like his friend, I don't know his name, he like pops out of a secret door in the wall, which
Yeah.
is like, then why were you riding
Right.
a
Use the
chain
door.
down? It doesn't. I don't. Whatever.
yeah.
Gosh, that movie's actually pretty good. Okay. Are we ready for
I
the
want to
big
play
three?
both of those games.
I'm trying to find like him sliding down that chain.
I
It's not
really
gonna
want to play the Mortal Engines game.
I feel
Yeah,
like we're
I know.
blending
I want to
to
be like
good.
we're like chasing each other
Right.
around with these like
Yeah.
giant things.
right. And if
It's
you
almost
get
like
to
a race car
resources
battle
first-
game, but with these mortal engines.
I
Yeah.
want like a little piece though where you can like add resources.
Oh, yeah,
on it, where
it's
you're like
For
stronger.
sure, yeah.
Like,
You're
you
like
have to-
build it
stacking
up.
Yeah.
stuff on. Absolutely.
Without a
Cool.
doubt.
That'd be cool.
That would. That's.
I feel like
Somebody
we're,
do it. Somebody
yeah.
make that game and call it human. I don't know, engines.
All right, all
Just
right.
waiting
Just
to see what
yeah.
you came up with.
Turns out it's hard to rename Mortal Engines. I don't know.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Yeah, so we are going to do
Yeah.
our top 3 countdown. This month we are talking about tabletop games, movies, and TV, and our extra topic this month is holiday season.
Fun.
Ken, I'm going to start with you this month. What is your number 3?
Ooh, I forgot that that's how we do this, and I like it. I'm gonna go with my tabletop, and it's not.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite game or a least favorite game. I'm not gonna trash anything. I'm gonna bring up maybe a sensitive topic
Okay.
about board games, which is I've got Dice Throne Kickstarter complete edition over there in shrink wrap.
Oof.
I've had it for
Really?
months. I'm never going to use it. What do I do with it, if anything? And what are our thoughts on me selling it for what I'm sure would wind up being more than the Kickstarter price, right? I'm not scalping it.
Which one do you have though?
The big
I
one,
think-
the champion, whatever.
Where is
I think that's what
ours?
it's called.
If you know you're never going to play it, then pass it on to somebody
Yeah, but-
else.
Yeah.
But my collection has always been a collection, right? In the dust collecting sense.
That's
a dust
true.
collecting
Yeah.
collection.
Well, it is a fine product. I will say that.
Yeah.
I like
It looks nice.
I like
If
how
you want
Dice
the
Throne is put
collection.
together.
Right.
I like that Dice Throne is very easy to pull out and play. There's no
It is pretty. Yeah.
rules review necessary. It's a Yahtzee style game where every ability that your dice trigger is on your board written out. There's no
Yeah.
Well, it also
teaching
has,
involved. The only thing you have to look up is is what is our starting health and what resources do we start with?
Yeah.
Because like Emily said, it was about to say, I think, there are cards that
That's what I
show
was
you
gonna say.
the order of the round.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Okay.
And so you don't have to remember how to even play
Yeah.
because it tells you. It's the kind of thing where in the
Maybe-
future you could pull it out and play it whenever. Like if Will's old enough to play, all of a
that's
sudden
true.
it's
That's
worthwhile.
true. Well, I see the one at Target now, and I'm like, oh, cool, Dice
Is there one
Throne.
at Target?
Yeah, but then you look at it, and it's 4 characters, and it's kind of like, the whole point of this game is to have the big one, for me anyway, right? I like the characters, and it's like, well, Spider-Man, whatever, Scarlet Witch, and whoever's in the
The big
box at Target is like kind of uninspired. I don't know how you get the
we
big.
So
haven't
you
even
have the
played all the
Marvel one,
Marvel
you're
ones.
saying.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Jeez, Marvel Dice Throne collector
The-
Kickstarter
yeah.
thing. Sorry.
And we have only played the Marvel one. Maybe you played more, Ben. Who did I play?
I don't
played
know.
one
Scarlet
time.
Witch.
Maybe?
You, don't you?
I don't
Didn't
remember.
you guys get the big one? Yeah.
We
Yep,
did.
we just haven't
We just
played it.
haven't-
There's
yeah.
somebody out there who wants this more than me, but also I really like it. I like just having
Oh,
it.
then hold on to it then.
I would just hold
Then
on to it if you have
that's-
any.
If you're like, no, I want to have this, then you keep it. If you're
Yeah.
like, if you're asking, how do I get rid of this?
Well, the other
No.
thing, it's
No.
only going to grow in value. If in 10 years you were like, I don't want it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, sell it then.
I guess so.
You
yeah.
know? Like, I'm assuming at least, like, that version.
When did that come out? That came out several months ago.
Was it like in the summer?
Yeah, it was in the
I
summer
feel like it was
sometime.
in summer.
Right. It was right
So-
before we went to Gen Con, I
But
think.
that is a game, when the kids get older, it's easy.
That's
Because you're
the
like,
thing.
hey,
I
do you
think
know
that's why I
Yahtzee?
bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and then having this massive selection of the characters or whatever is like,
Yeah, that's
be whoever
fun.
you want. You know, like
Yeah.
the fun of Marvel United is be whoever
Yeah.
you want.
That's
Be,
true.
You know,
Right. Well, I think the main reason why we haven't pulled it out much, because Dice Throne was we don't feel like playing a game, but we feel like playing a game. So we play
Okay.
Dice Throne because
Yeah.
you always remember how to play. It's always fun because you get to pick a different character when you have
Right.
you have a big box,
Right.
right? So
Right.
I'm going to be this person. I've never been them, or I haven't been them in a long time, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, because I have all 3 boxes, so I have
Man,
well,
man.
what's that? 24 characters to choose from now.
Yeah, we have a
Wow.
lot. Which
like,
is also fun to be like, pick a number and you randomly just do
Right.
it, you know?
Yeah, you pick anybody. But like we've started playing Wizards of the Grimoire, which is another really good game.
okay.
Yeah, that-
But I could get back to some Dice Throne for sure.
We just haven't had time. I mean, Ben going through his midlife crisis. We haven't had
Yeah.
time to play games.
That's true. Yep.
He's actually been very grumpy all the time.
We were just talking about that.
Welcome to my
So-
world. Yeah.
But
Just mean every day.
You're also.
Just mean every day.
Mean and
But I don't know. We haven't
Yeah.
as much time, so then
Yeah.
it just hasn't. But it's one of those things I know, like we will eventually get to it.
That's
Because
the-
even
that's
if
the
we
other
waited
thing.
like
It's
10 years. Not that I'm
Yeah.
saying we're gonna wait 10 years, but even if we did, like it would still be fun. Like that
And
game,
you-
I feel like doesn't
the-
get old.
Right.
You know.
It's a great standby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on to it. It's not
I'd say hold
bothering
on to
me.
it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nice.
Well, let's
All
go
right.
counterclockwise today. I'm going to go second.
How
Rude.
convenient.
So I have had a weird week, a weird month, and a weird attitude, and I'm going to have a weird approach to today's top 3.
Perfect.
I have put together 3 short topics for us to
I
discuss
thought you were gonna
at
be like
each of
short
my.
poems or something.
Oh.
No, I put
Poetry
together
slam?
3 short topics
All
at
right.
each of my numbers for us to discuss.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
So number 3 for me is
So this
I
is
want to
3 people, date night thrice, talking about 3 topics out of order, and each of your 3 topics has 3 small subtopics.
That's correct.
So what is that? 3 to the third
3
or fourth power?
27.
Yeah.
No, so number 3 for me, I want to talk about video games to board games and board games to video game ports. And
Love
the
it.
reason why I want to talk about this is because up on Kickstarter right now is Slay the Spire,
Yep.
which is a very popular deck building video game. Very good. And as far as I can tell, the board game that's on Kickstarter right now is essentially a straight port, though it allows for cooperative play, which the video game does not.
No.
But it seems to be very honest, like homage to the video game. It's like the same game essentially.
Like Gloomhaven, right? It's the same game.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to get into. So, Gloomhaven went the opposite direction. It's a board game that became a video game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then not having to run the monster AI makes it a very hard sell to go back to the table.
Oh, yeah.
And that's particularly important as Frosthaven is just arriving at people's doorsteps. So our Frosthaven hasn't arrived yet, but a lot of other people's have, and ours could come any day. The Frosthavens are arriving.
Any day.
Now, Frosthaven is very exciting, but do I want to try to just simply this? Go ahead, Em.
What is your overall question? Or what are
I want to have a general no.
I was like, did I miss it?
All I want to do is have a general discussion with you guys about the idea of video game to board game ports and board game to video game ports.
Sure, yeah.
And what your feelings are on it and how you feel about it.
I would like Immortal Engines. That's movie to. Sorry.
I mean, it all.
It's
like let's go back to my first one. Does Slay the Spire, is that something that sounds interesting? A very good deck building video game ported to the table. Does that sound interesting?
It all depends on it all depends on the translation. I've never played Slay the Spire, but I know I'm thinking of it's not a deck builder, but Darkest Dungeon, which is
another one they made a board game out of.
Right. And for me, that game is interesting because of the visuals and the ambiance and the sound design in that game, where I think we joked about it on this podcast. I played Darkest Dungeon a lot until the point where I was like, I think I'm depressed. Like, because this game is just constantly closing in on you visually and audibly.
Sure.
Sound design, audibly.
I like Ken's version better.
Audially. My beautiful baby daughter, audially. Anyway, like I would have a hard time believing that game works as well in a board game setting. So it's all just a question of how well does it translate. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse.
And I would agree.
I agree with that.
I think the closer the video game is to a board game, the less I want to play it.
The video game.
Closer a video game?
Oh.
No, the closer that the video game is to a board game, the less I want to play it on the table. So Slay the Spire is a deck building game without question. You have a deck of cards, you buy new cards to put in it.
Oh, so you're saying just stick to the video game.
A deck building game. And the video game makes all the work of shuffling the cards and
but that's
doing the math.
You're the game daddy all the time when we played, right? Yeah, so I always had the pleasure of not having to worry about any of that.
But like, what if you would rather sit at a table with someone and do that than like through a computer screen?
Cheese and I mean, I can do that on a computer, but
my feelings on that are that there is so many options now in the board gaming space that I'm okay with them staying separate. If I want to play a good deck builder, let's play Thunderstone Quest. Thunderstone Quest is an amazing deck builder. Let's play that. If I want to just a quick, like, boom, 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 like, I don't want to have to do the math. I don't want to shuffle my cards. I just want to play a fun deck builder. I go play Slay the Spire on my computer, which, because I pay for Game Pass, is already available to me at no cost.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's also like, I don't know. Like, why does it matter? Why can't you just have both?
Let me say, who cares? It's very exciting to see those two mediums intersecting pretty aggressively, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? Card play in big video games is like a thing.
Yeah.
Games have games inside of them. And the more anytime a video game is introduced as a board game, anytime a video game is introduced as a board game, you've got my immediate interest, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be it's typically the larger properties, which have established audiences. I'm thinking, did they make a Mass Effect game at some point? But like, there's a number of video games that if you said board game, you sent me Elden Ring board game, and it was like, cool. I don't think I ever want to play that on a tabletop.
Well,
you would have to work a miracle to make that interesting.
The main thing is just like, why not just have both, and whatever scenario you're in that fits, like, I don't think you have to pick one or the other.
And the good thing is video games generally don't go over $60, right? So if you can get the big honking board game version, and then be like, all right, get the.
So I think the thing though, like if Ken still lived nearby, would we still play Gloomhaven online, or would we play it in person?
I feel like we would bring laptops to your house and play it. I'm not kidding. That's what I would do.
It's true. Gloomhaven's a lot to set up. But something that's not Gloomhaven, that's just a card game.
Right.
Like I know you're like, you don't
always
have to
bring that out. Yeah.
But a card game, I'd be like, well, I'd rather just play at the table with all of us.
Yeah, that's good.
Than a video game.
That's a good point. If Ben and I were ever just sitting here, hey, you want to play something? And is it going to be like a video game, or is it going to be Wingspan on Tabletop Simulator? It's probably going to be a video game, right? Mm-hmm. We're on the computer, a proper video game. So I don't even entirely know what my point was. It just
I don't know. I think it's nice that there's multiple levels of each thing.
Yes.
Like video game versions, board game versions, tabletop, like simulate, like so that no matter the scenario, you can interact with friends in the way you want. That's what I'm saying.
I can't argue with that. And I'm glad I brought this up as a topic because I didn't really know where I sat on this stuff. I like Slay the Spire, the video game. For me, it was essentially no additional cost. I just got to play the game for what I was already paying for Game Pass. The Slay the Spire board tabletop game is $100, and it's $145 if you want the play mats.
Okay, that's a no then. Sorry.
And so,
that's dumb.
And that's why I was like this is, I would, but if you like this enough to take it out of the computer. And there's also,
but it's just cards.
Well, because they like straight ported it. All the mechanisms of the video game are trying to be translated to the table. So there's a lot of little stuff because the video game does a lot of, and there's the thing about card games and video games is they can do a lot of quick multiplication things that you can't think about Hearthstone. If you play Hearthstone, Ken, there's stuff in Hearthstone you just can't do on the table quickly.
Well, I'm sure.
And this is, I felt like Slay the Spire was the same way. And so to try to pull that out, I feel like it might be kind of tough on the table. And it made me yes, there are straight ports like Gloomhaven to the video game space is nice because the enemy AI is difficult to run on the table. But if we played some other game, that it might be more fun to run that on the table.
Yeah, I think it just depends.
Virtually.
I like Wingspan better on the table, and that's a literal. We're playing Wingspan.
Yeah. For sure.
I guess that's not the question you're asking though, because that's not a port.
Well, that's a good though.
Wingspan.
But that's like Gloomhaven ported to digital is better digital. Wingspan ported to digital. I'd rather play Wingspan on the table.
I wouldn't call that a port. We're playing the board game. On the computer.
Right. Now there's also,
let's say there was like an animated, like a video game version. I feel like I would still rather play in person. I would still like it, but I think.
Well, because I mean that game is all about the visual sort of aesthetic and the look and the reading the fluff text.
Yeah, which I wouldn't mind it if there was like a. If Flip might
I'd buy it.
And did all that crap, that would.
They're making
one?
Yeah, let me check real quick.
Just because that's a lot of pieces when you're in like the simulator.
That's true.
But
while you look, like Darkest Dungeon is another good example. That's a video game that works in digital space. It was built from the ground up as a video game, never considered to be on the tabletop, but it works like a board game. It is a turn-based game. You have an order. Everything's like numbers-based. It is very much like surface level, seemingly like a board game. But they made a tabletop version of Darkest Dungeon. And having played the video game, I don't want to play the tabletop one.
That's what I
because
was
the video
trying to
game's
say.
too complicated. I don't want to try to translate that to
You're
the table. There's
spending
too much.
significantly more time on math and, mechanics, or that's not the right word. Behind stuff that is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I don't want to see how it works.
Yeah,
I don't want to have to try to do that on the
I
table.
want to play the game, not the.
Now there is the other kind of video game to tabletop, which is using a video game IP and then designing a board game based on that IP.
Right.
That's like the Elden Ring board game.
Yeah.
That's like I think you said an example a second ago, Em. I don't remember what it was. Mortal Engines, let's say,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like the Elden Ring board game. The board game is not going to be anything like the video
possibly
game.
be like the video game.
Well,
That's different.
That's like a movie to board game, I think.
Yeah.
That's just
It's
like
just an
the
IP
theme.
translated to a
Yeah.
board game. That's different. That's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe. So there's an $89 pledge for the Elden Ring board game that does not include any of the stretch goals. And so I don't know what that is. That's the same as if you bought it at the store.
Yeah.
No.
There's a $179 version, which is the first real Kickstarter pledge that includes the stretch goals. But that is 54 minis, 1,200 plus cards, 4 scenario books, and
Did you
4
say
player boards.
1,200
Wait
plus
till he gets to the
cards?
big
If
one.
you do the top tier, the $429 tier,
No.
It
what
is
did
a-
they do? Buy you a card? Like, this is stupid.
it is 104 miniatures, 2,500 plus cards,
No.
Yeah.
12 scenario books, and 12 player boards.
No.
Holy cow.
That's too much stuff.
That is like...
That would take you years to finish.
You know, in like the Santa Claus movie, when he gets the list in his house, like delivered, like FedEx, that's what it would be. They'd be like, hold
Yeah.
on, we got the rest, truck 2 is on its way.
I love Elden Ring.
I would
sounds like
never
work,
play this
though.
board game.
Yeah, someone would drop
Elden Ring
work
cost
off
me
at your house.
$60.
Yeah.
And I had
played it
so
for
much fun with it. It was
120
wonderful.
hours, 150 hours.
Right. I'll look it up. How much did I play Elden Ring?
I bet it was
loved every
160.
minute of it.
That's
While you're
insane.
doing that, Wingspan is on Steam. How about this, though? No multiplayer.
What?
Ugh,
Well,
is
then
it all?
Yeah.
Why?
Unless
What's
I
the
missed
point of playing
something?
it digital then?
I
Oh,
don't
it's got
know.
multiplayer. I'm an idiot.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
160
I was like,
hours of
why?
Elden Ring. You think
I'm
I'd
gonna
ever
get
play
it.
160 hours of that board game?
No.
No?
Well, you might if you
Maybe.
wanted to get your money
Maybe if I
back.
didn't have 300 board games already or whatever I have.
That's
So if I'm going to get Wingspan, do I get it with the European expansion or with season? Oh, I don't want that. Never mind. All right, I'm going to get this for sure.
Do it. All right, I think that wraps us up.
Report
I think
back.
we've come to no conclusion in that you guys
job,
love
guys.
the idea of them
Yeah.
games going either way until you
on the
find out how much
game.
board games cost and then don't like the idea
I
at
don't
all.
want someone saying, here's 2,500 cards or whatever the heck you said.
Well, that was the
That's
Elden Ring
stupid.
one, but even Slay the Spire, which I'm sure that board game is going to be fantastic. It's $100. It's the minimum entry
Yeah.
point.
It's like someone's
Yeah.
giving me work.
Yep.
That's not fun.
And I already have a great deck builder on the table. Let's play Thunderstone Quest. I love Thunderstone Quest. It's a great
I
game.
know.
Let's play that.
Yeah, I mean, you're
long.
answering the question there, right there, right? Slay the Spire's better on computer, and I already have it, and I have Thunderstone's
And I-
Quest for the table, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't need a third lesser option of either of those games.
It also seems like lately games are like, oh, it's so much better because there's like more and more and more. And I'm like, that doesn't make a good game.
Does
just
not
'cause you
make
give
it
me
better.
200 minis. Like, the game needs to be good. Just because you have
Yeah.
a bunch of crap that comes with it doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like storage and this and that. Like, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just want to be like, well, now I know it's probably not that great because you're like going over the top with this crap.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, Em, what is your number 3?
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Man, we need to get to work on Mortal Engines board game.
I know.
We'll start mapping it
I
out.
feel like
we'll
that
start
was such a
outlining
good
it.
Yeah.
idea. My number 3 is we got the Everdell New Leaf expansion. Well, we got multiple
Ooh, okay.
expansions, but we tried out the New Leaf expansion.
Nice.
And I really liked it, and so I want to talk about that. So we got the big box Oh, you can see it right.
Oh, look at how much
jeez.
it sticks out of the
Trying
shelf.
to
Protruding
turn.
from the
There.
yeah.
It's so big.
So we got that. So the new expansions were the New Leaf and the Mistwood. So we
Ooh.
played the New Leaf, which is like a little train station. So you can like go to the train station to get extra resources and little, essentially like bonus cards.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be like, oh, if you have 7, blah, 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 you know, this made points at the end kind of thing. So it's nothing crazy, which I really like about most of the expansions, but it's like something that you can
Yeah.
add into the game easily. I like that they're not like over the top
Right.
hard and changes every rule.
There's some expansions where you're just playing the expansion essentially. Like you still got to do all that other stuff, but
yeah.
the expansion
you
is so
have-
important now that it's like,
hate
well,
it
this is
so
just a
much.
different game.
But I don't know. I feel like whenever I hear about Everdell, people like give it like it's not like a real game or something. I don't know. Like they're like, I don't know, it's like cute
What?
looking or something. Like it always seems like people are kind of like, I don't know, it's not that great of a game. I feel like this is such a great game, and people are
I
always
liked
like,
it. Yeah.
But I really like the new expansion. We haven't tried the other one yet. But Ben,
Nice.
did you want to say anything about this one?
So it's called New Leaf, right? Mm-hmm. I think New Leaf is my favorite expansion.
Wow.
So when they did the original Kickstarter, there was Pearlbrook,
Ugh.
which adds
we only
like
did that one
wonders and a new resource type and a whole new board and a new worker type. It's like you said, Ken. When you play with
It's like a whole
Pearlbrook, you're
nother
playing
game.
Pearlbrook.
Maybe we talked about it for this exact same thing. Was like this
might
this
have, yeah.
expansion takes over the game, and I don't
Yeah.
like the expansion.
I didn't like
so
that. Yeah.
now you've ruined a good game for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they did the second Kickstarter, it was for Spirecrest and Belfair. Now, Belfair is the kind of expansion that's a bunch of modules you just throw in and you don't know the difference. You're like, there's
Yeah,
just some fun
it's
stuff
easy.
here.
I think we played with
Spirecrest,
that.
yeah, we probably
I
did.
think.
Probably.
Spirecrest adds stuff you do in between seasons. When you pass, you do a bunch of stuff.
Once
it's-
again,
I
it's
think
pretty
we might
easy
have done
though to
that
add in.
too.
We probably did. It's fun stuff to add on, but it is stuff you add on. What I really like about New Leaf
Yeah.
is the issue with Everdell has always been that the game is entirely based on pairs of cards. This construction works with this creature. And if you get the construction, you can play the creature for free. And then a lot of times all the of special events are based on you having certain sets of cards.
Yeah.
And so the problem is, how do you add new cards to the game without breaking the percent chance that you can hit those other things? That's always been their issue. So what New Leaf does is it adds a ton of new cards to the deck. Finally, they said, we're just going to break that. They add a ton of new cards to the deck, and they add a new mechanism at which you can use these special buildings to play any creature type or any creature of a certain color.
Or it'll be, a
Nice.
certain
So
kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes it way easier to get those combinations you need.
But sometimes it's also
Right.
where you're like, okay, well, I'll use this creature to combine. And then, like, 2 turns later, I have the construction that went with that creature, but I already used it. And you're like,
That's
but
true,
that's-
but maybe that
but that-
construction never would have come up, right?
But yeah, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like that too.
So
though,
they
'cause,
they
you know,
they give in to diluting the deck, and then
Mm-hmm.
they give you this mechanism that deals with the deck being dilute. And then they also
Right.
say, go take all those special event cards out of the special events deck that have to deal with certain card pairs pairing up.
Yeah.
Get rid of those, and we'll have these more generic special events.
Cool.
And I feel like that just opens the door for them to make the game like
Right.
way broader. Now you have no
Right.
card limit. You can do whatever you want. You add all these cards in. There's all kind of fun new characters and all kinds of stuff. Now the sideboard where you go to the train station and you can get end game point scoring goals and a resource is kind of whatever, just adds to the game.
it's just like one extra thing you can
Right,
do.
there's no question that with like the thing about when you add Spirecrest in, they were really focused on like keeping the balance of the game the same. So they were like, oh, because the Spirecrest
Right. Right.
things give you a bonus, then we have to have you deal with the weather that's a negative so that we keep
Yeah.
the balance.
Yeah.
And what they did with New Leaf is they said, screw that. We're going to blow up the deck. We're going to make it so that you can get endgame points, and we're going to make it so that you get a resource when you do it. And we're fine with that, and all your scores are going to be higher, and who cares? It's just a new
Yeah.
game, and I think that the new open-ended New
I
Leaf
like it.
game is more fun. I think
Yeah.
Everdell is better with New Leaf, and I don't see why I wouldn't play it that way. I'm never going to
Cool.
go through the deck and pull all those cards back
Yeah.
out.
No.
Funny.
So it
Nice.
just makes the game
No,
more
it
fun.
was fun.
Makes me
though.
want to play. Yeah.
But yeah, that one was fun. And then we actually got, it was like 97 to, I think I got like 94.
Whoa.
And it was that thing where I looked at the end and I was like, oh, if I would have just moved this one card, that would have given me the 4 points.
And now because
of
it's so much
course.
easier and stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
not like before you had to be so specific with the cards. Now it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I really could have got those 4 points.
Exactly. I was like,
Right.
oh, if I would have just looked down for 5 seconds, I totally could have. And
Yeah.
but it was
Huh.
so close. But it was a lot of fun. I really
Nice.
liked that game.
I will say one more thing. They actually undermines maybe not the right word, but my least favorite mechanic or mechanism in board games is when you have to use an action to take an end game scoring card. When you have
Yeah.
to use an action
Okay,
you could
yep.
have used to make your engine better or get more resources
Yeah.
or whatever to get an end game scoring card. I hate that mechanism in games. I hate that I just hate it so much. I always want to be
We know
doing
this.
something every action to make my stuff better,
Sure,
not
yeah.
get
Yeah, which I
and
get.
what they do here is that when you take the end game scoring cards, you also get a resource reward.
Yeah, so you're not just
And
Not a total, yeah.
yeah.
if it's a pebble, like the action spot to get a pebble is you get 1 pebble anyway. And so
Okay.
it's almost better.
Yeah, it's like you might.
I might as well go get the
attempt to
end game
the
card.
bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And get the
Right
You know,
away.
so
Yeah. Huh. Cool.
that's how they sort of like get me.
Yeah,
you know,
which
they're
I
like,
did like
okay,
that.
I'm fine with this then.
nice.
But I really like that. Can you get the expansion on its own, or is it just with the big box?
I'm assuming you can get it separate. It came in its own box.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure.
Yep.
Probably should look that up. Or if you can't yet, maybe you will be able to, if anything. I didn't look, though. Just because we got the big box, so it's like, well, why am I looking to double check that? But
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, I don't know. I like that game, and I like that there's so many expansions and options to switch it
Nice.
around and whatnot.
Let's take a break.
Perfect.
All right, Ken, are you ready to lay on us your number 2?
You could phrase that better next time.
I know.
Let-
I really regretted that after I started saying it. And it was
But
too
you kept
late.
going anyway, didn't you? Got a movie that I would recommend with some
All right.
caveats. When I
Ooh,
saw
okay.
Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever,
Okay.
everybody knows I'm a Marvel guy. I love those movies pretty much 99% of the time.
Kana forever.
Wakanda Forever. This one's intense, man.
Yeah, is this one
Emotional.
like just? I
Oh,
feel like,
really?
Well, yeah, because
I cried probably
what's
3
his
separate
name?
times.
Cried, died.
Whoa.
Yes. Chadwick Boseman, the guy who
Yes.
played Black Panther,
Thank you. I was like,
died
I don't know his name.
2
and
years
it's
ago.
Sad because
from, I think he had some
He had
type of
cancer.
cancer that he didn't tell a bunch of people about, or just,
Yeah.
didn't announce it, I
Yeah.
suppose is the better way to say that.
But I don't think a lot. I think a lot of Marvel actors didn't know either with him.
Right.
You know, so it's not like, oh, he just didn't tell everyone. It's
Yeah.
like people working with him, I don't think even knew.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I think
a lot of times.
he's visibly smaller in the
Yeah.
later movies. And it's like, oh, geez. Well, that's why.
Yeah, if you were, I know, which is so sad.
But what I thought they did really well with this movie and what made it interesting, particularly in light of the last two, which was Thor 4 and
Thor.
and
Thor.
Doctor Strange 2, which I both felt were kind of iffy. Definitely Thor was not the
Yeah.
best.
And D Strange. And D Strange wasn't.
D Strange
very-
had its moments, but I was not in love with it. But this one goes total opposite direction.
Okay.
Interesting because this movie is about losing someone you love and how people react to that and how people don't like how other people react to grief and mourning and all these sorts of things. All of that packaged into a superhero movie. And for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, there's no stand up and cheer hero moment, It's sort of like, well, I guess I have to do this.
Oh,
It's
gosh,
pretty.
I don't know if I
It's
can
pretty
mentally-
somber, actually. It's pretty intense. Like
Ooh.
it's quite long, but it's I don't want to call it mature or like it's just sad.
But
It's
like you wouldn't
about
bring
death.
the kids to it, right?
No.
Yeah,
They wouldn't.
Because
I don't
there's
think they would
some
get
Marvel
it.
movies that you're like, oh, you'll enjoy
Oh,
it,
yeah.
whatever. You don't
Yep.
care.
Not
But
a
this
problem
one
at
just
all.
sounds like it's not,
They'd
and
be
not that it would
they
be
wouldn't
bad to
get
bring
it.
them, but
No.
yeah, it's just not. They'd
No.
be like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought they even did it on top of it being sort of a different Marvel type of movie. They did a few things to correct the formula. Like,
Oh, thank God.
the third act, punch 'em up, is not Black Panther against Black Panther guy with the same powers in the same
Yeah.
suit. Like I hated the first fight, the first movie's end battle.
I hate
Yeah.
it.
Where
hate
the
it.
bad guy and the main hero have the same powers is like, oh, you gotta do something different. I hate
I
this.
don't.
Right.
Yeah.
This one, they make it abundantly clear that the bad guy is essentially Thor power level fighting people.
Yeah,
humans.
regular people for the most part.
And so the end battle has to be different, and they have to make all these adjustments for how they deal with the bad guy when he's
God,
so over. So I thought it
That's
did
good.
interesting things, and on top of that was just maybe I just needed to cry, but I thought it was really good.
Ben, maybe you could use that for your midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Well,
You gotta cry sometimes, man. You
You
gotta get it
certainly
out.
made me want to go watch it. I like movies that make me feel something.
Right.
That's what I like about movies.
The way you said that, like you're a robot, and you're
Right.
like,
No, I'm with you.
sometimes-
Yeah.
I agree though, but
That's what all these
that's-
D-list movies are like. You're just sitting there, and it's just noise and light. And it's like, I don't
Right.
yeah, you're
It's
like,
like,
what?
what is
for
this?
the yeah.
It's just it's
That
I,
is true.
I even if a movie makes me sad, I still
still
But
a
you-
good movie.
Enjoy that
that's the movie you
experience.
think of
Yeah.
the next day, and the next
Right.
day, and the next.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're still thinking
The
about it days
more-
later, it's a good.
Yeah, I've
movie.
thought about it. I'm like, man, some
Yeah.
of the so sorry, what were you gonna say, Ben? Before I
well,
complimented
I
one
was
last
just
time.
it's not the kind of thing you go and watch again. Because especially
Absolutely.
the more emotional it
No,
is,
but-
the more you don't even want to attempt to
And it
ever
wouldn't be the
recreate that
same.
experience.
it would cheapen
Oh my
the
God.
experience.
Yeah.
Right?
That's-
But that one time,
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really
if
good.
it lands right, yeah,
Yeah.
I would. I'll have to watch this movie. It sounds right up my alley.
oh my god.
And I got there's a few people in it who act their goddamn hearts out. Like the woman who plays T'Challa's dad, the queen. Or no, her mom. His mom, sorry, geez.
Oh yeah.
The queen. It's
think of
Angela
her,
Bassett,
yeah.
who I think is a very
Okay, yeah.
experienced actor. I think she's won stuff before,
Yeah.
but I don't know anything about her. And there's parts in this movie where, like, well, she should be the Black Panther. Make her the
Yeah,
Black
right.
just because she's like, and she doesn't fight anybody, but she's the most like emotionally charged,
Oh,
huge.
it's like making. I'm
it's.
like okay.
I really liked it. So
This sounds
not going
good.
to spoil anything. The sort of what I took from it was the core conflict was, and this I'm sure this is a reflection of my own life. The mom grieves one way for his passing.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter, his sister, the daughter,
yeah.
grieves very differently, right? The mom
Mhm.
is sort of at peace with it because they don't believe that life ends at death. There's this whole astral plane thing, whereas the sister is the techie who I should have saved him. I could have saved him. Why didn't he tell me? The reasons he dies in the movie they mirror Chadwick Boseman's actual death,
Okay.
which was
I was wondering how
kind
they
of
were gonna like do that. Yeah.
yeah, he had been sick. He didn't
Okay.
tell many people, and he didn't really, that
Yeah.
was just how he was going to handle it. And so there's this awesome conflict between the mom and the daughter about like, I'm at peace with his death to a certain extent, and I can't think about my brother without like hating everybody. Like I'm
Yeah.
mad that he's gone. I'm mad at him. I'm mad at me. All these sorts of things. I thought it was it was batting or was punching above its weight for a Marvel movie. That's
Cool.
Yeah,
fair.
sounds like
I think
it.
that's what Marvel needs.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
especially they went like too goofy,
something.
where it's like, let's get back to like if it's
Boy,
supposed to be real
Thor
life,
4
like
was
it's
like,
a real. Yeah,
That's-
Anyway.
like if they're willing to start making some movies,
Right.
Yeah.
then
No,
I'll
it's
start
still
watching
got,
again.
It's still got, the action scenes and
Well,
the
that's
new
fine.
suits
Just-
and the tie-ins to
gotta
other
have that.
movies. But, yeah, it's good. It's cool.
awesome.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, let's keep the topic on movies. I watched for my number 2 this month is another topic of discussion.
Wait. What?
What you got?
No. Go.
I watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners recently.
I thought you were gonna say something.
And I enjoyed that experience. It's sort of based in the same world that Cyberpunk 2077 is
Did
from
you
the
watch
video
that
game.
down here
I did, yeah.
when I was sick.
When you were sick, I watched it down here. Yeah, when I was living in the basement.
You lived in the basement because I was coughing 24/7.
That's true.
Nobody could sleep. Yeah.
I was on. It's like on Netflix. It's an anime. I liked it. Super violent, like very intense. And it made me want to talk to you guys about. It made me hesitate to come on here and be like, I liked this. People should watch it. When I would be afraid to recommend it to anybody.
Sure.
Even more so than like Invincible, I felt like earned its violence.
Yes.
It used violence to sell the idea that these are super powerful people.
Right. It mattered that it was violent. Yeah.
Which is different than The Boys, which uses violence for like shock a little bit. Though it does use violence in the same way to be like what it would really be like to be super powerful. You wouldn't take a punch, you'd blow up or something like that. But I don't watch The Boys. Maybe I should. I don't know. But that's my thing. My thing is like of extreme violence or levels of violence in movies and TV. Like how is that for you? For me, it's kind of how you feel about it. For me, a lot of times it's kind of a turnoff.
Yeah.
Generally,
like-
yeah.
Rarely do I see it where I feel like it fits well. In Invincible, I liked it. In the
For
Cyberpunk,
some reason, it works in Invincible really well. It sells
Yeah.
the threat and the power and the these heroes lived in a different tier than humans, right?
Right.
Sort of.
That
Anyway,
makes sense.
Cyberpunk had to have this level for it to sell the sort of like body dysmorphia of teching yourself out to the extreme. Like the whole theme there is like the race for power through tech until your body essentially like rejects it and you go nuts, and that's how you become like a cyber nut or whatever the heck they're called. And it was sort of this like interesting story of this kid who like started out with nothing and then got into this group and then took it too far, and like it went too far. And it sort of does not have a happy ending.
yeah.
But
And it was a really good like few episode show that I enjoyed,
Yeah.
But again, like it's hard for me to say like go watch this. Like that stuff's in a lot of people are like fine, like go watch Game of
lot of
Thrones
people
with all
don't
these sort of
care
like
at all.
intense
but it's
topics.
also different when it's like a cartoon versus
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones is a little bit different. Not that I'm like I'm fine.
I
with
will
it
say
more,
this.
like it more, but
I will stick around for a good story in spite of
Yeah.
like
You've
let's
gotta-
call it TVMA ratings.
yeah,
Yeah. You've got to.
But that will never bring me to the show. That's
No.
not that
No.
that will turn me off.
Yep.
I mean, usually I'm watching TV to get away from like
Right.
shittiness. The
Yeah.
last thing I need is like watch that like some weird, in some
Yeah.
ways, not in every,
There was.
but
I know Emily and I watched a lot of Dexter back in the day, which
Yeah.
used gore
they didn't like
as
show
comedy
it,
a lot.
though.
The first
Yeah.
season is actually quite.
Is it?
yeah.
Maybe I just don't remember.
And then they dial it way back. But a lot of the times it was comedic, but not in a haha, that guy got blown up. More like the officers are investigating a crime scene and making jokes about, I don't know
Yeah.
what. It was done well enough to where you could
Yeah.
look past it. But then it also used gore in very effective, shocking ways.
That's true.
But it was pretty rare. Once a season, you would get like a whoa, and then everything after that was like, oh, he's still doing it. It's just off screen.
Yeah, you're
right?
just not seeing it. Or
Yeah.
it's like a little bit to the right or whatever scenario. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even as an adult, I like PG-13 more than I like R.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
Right?
Yeah.
I like, and even with books, I like Wheel of Time and Stormlight Archive and King Killer Chronicle more than I like Game of Thrones.
I think
Yeah.
most of the time, like, extra gore
You know?
is, like, not necessary. It's just someone, I don't know if they're like, it's cool or I don't know, whatever. But that's why Game of Thrones, I was very, like, after a while, because the story was getting kind of boring. And it was just, like, watch me do
if
all
it
these
lulls
gross things. And it was like,
suddenly-
but why? You don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, I was just getting annoyed by it.
I like dealing with emotional realities and not graphic realities.
Well,
I'd rather deal with the
Yeah.
emotional
Sure.
conflicts of Star Wars Andor than watch somebody actually get blown up by a laser rifle or something.
unless the person getting blown up by the laser rifle becomes a pivotal moment for a character
Sure.
who
It
cannot-
has, yes.
Yeah.
whatever, can't deal with it, can't,
Yeah.
suddenly finds themselves totally okay with it. And we're like,
Absolutely. I can get pulled on board from good storytelling to any, let's say, level of
yeah,
like graphic whatever.
yeah,
But if you had to ask me what my preference is, it's probably
you can
PG-13.
do it
right?
without it.
I love the fantastical worlds of the King Killer Chronicle and Stormlight Archive, and a teenager can read those, right? Like, and I don't need it to be any more real than that. I like that it's pretend,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's the
fine with
point.
that.
Yeah.
It's escapism. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
And that's what that's what made me think of it is I liked watching Cyberpunk from start to finish, but it just was like when I was trying to put my top 3 together for this month, and it was the only thing I've watched.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I have that be one of my 3? It's very intense. I would hate for somebody to be like, this is
doesn't
great,
have
and
to
then
be
go
a
watch it and be like,
recommendation.
whoa.
Yeah,
Just
and
wanted
you can
to
just
talk
give
about it.
that warning
Yeah.
about it too.
Even
Like,
Invincible is like, I don't know if I could recommend this to many people that I
yeah.
didn't know. Like a close friend group, I might recommend it to, but it's, especially a lot of people would roll their eyes at cartoon violence, but it's like, well, they can do more interesting
I mean, you
things
can
with
do-
it, actually.
Anything, yeah.
Right? You can beat your son half to death in the finale, and whoops, spoilers. Go watch that show.
Spoiler alert.
It's a really
All
good
right,
show.
So what's your number 2?
Oh. Okay, so my number 2 goes with the holidays.
Oh,
And I am recommending I guess, album that we have used for years as as soon as like the fall hits. So it's Jazz for Peanuts is the album name. And it's
Like
a
Peanuts, like the-
retrospective like the cartoon Charlie
Okay.
Brown, a retrospective of the Charlie Brown TV themes. And it is like the best album ever when it comes to holiday stuff. Where the funny thing
Jazz
is,
for Peanuts.
I
huh?
looked it up on Amazon, like if you were to like buy the album, and
Yeah.
so there was 50 reviews, and all 50 had like a 5-star rating, and everyone was like, "Man, it's like childhood back home." Like everyone was like, but it's such a good album, and it's great for the perfect like background music for
yeah.
like when you have people over. And I don't know. I just love that, and I wanted to recommend that.
I never saw any of the Charlie Brown garbage growing up as a kid.
See, like,
I have
I didn't
zero,
really
but I like the
watch it
music.
either.
Music's good.
But the music just
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit
got
reminds
that-
me. But yeah, I was never like, we gotta watch isn't there like the Great
Pumpkin. Everybody's like, what do you mean you never heard of it?
Yeah, and like Charlie
I don't know
Brown's,
how
I
else
don't
to-
know, like Christmas where he has
He's
like
got
a
that
sad
busted
tree
ass
or whatever.
Christmas tree. I know that. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
Charles Schultz, is that his name?
I think
Who
so.
did
Yeah,
Peanuts?
I think so.
He was from St. Paul. So St. Paul
that's
and
why it's
Minneapolis
big
were
here.
like,
Yeah.
"Ah!" Like,
Right.
if
When
you
we get
ever,
a celebrity here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
If
was
you don't
like, we got,
Prince
you know,
and Charles
yeah.
Schultz, you can go right to hell.
You
God
can
bless.
get the F out of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
always
right.
like Charlie
Take some
Brown
leftovers
and
with you on your
Snoopy.
way to
Yeah.
hell, you son
Exactly.
of a bitch.
That's how it was.
Yeah. Anyway, drive safe.
Bob
Watch for
Dylan.
deer.
We have
Yeah.
Prince. We have. we
God,
only had a
you
few.
cannot drive your car without hearing a Prince song here. You can't.
Everybody loves Prince.
You're not kidding him. There are 47 reviews
Yeah.
on Amazon, and I think all 47 of them are 5 stars.
Yes. Okay, I'm telling you. It's
Oh no!
like
Here's a
just
4-star
jazzy.
one. It's
Oh.
in a different language.
Oh,
It's
well,
in
then
German.
Who knows? They're all good though. But it's if you like any sort of jazz,
Yeah,
and it's
love
not
that
like you have to love like
ambient.
jazz, but like
Yeah.
it's a great like medium background, and then usually once you play it, depending on what you have, like we have the home Google
Yeah.
thing, you know, then it finds other songs like it, and then like
I do love
82
me some
hours later,
jazz.
you're like, what the hell is going on?
Well,
but
and-
some good song is on.
I think the key here is it is different than queuing up the Charlie Brown specials
it is
soundtracks.
different.
Right.
It is not the Charlie Brown music. It is, and the subtitle of the album is
Yeah.
a retrospective of the Charlie Brown
Yeah.
TV themes. So it is.
It's a little bit
New-
different.
It is a Charlie Brown
music.
adjacent.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
redone in the same style,
Yeah.
and so it's not that
Yeah.
same music. It's like
Yeah.
like it but different, and it's just very
All right.
So good.
I'm on
So
it.
good.
comforting. It's very
Yeah.
comforting.
I love jazz. I used
It's
to
so good.
drive home from law school at 10:30 at night in the rain and listen to jazz. And like it's like my
Oh.
own YouTube
I
lo-fi
was gonna
jazz
say.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
I remember like it's like a 45-minute drive.
You're
at
the lo-fi
night.
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. The windshield wipers go.
Yes. Like, yes, but I highly recommend that for anyone who enjoys any music like that. So
Nice.
What
that's
an
my
excellent
holiday
recommendation.
That's really
recommendation.
good. Good call.
So good. All right. Well, that brings us all the way to our number ones.
Okay.
Number one.
Ken, you're up first. What's your number one? What's your number one for
It's
us?
a holiday thing.
You okay, Ben?
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to throw up too. Holiday thing. I'm going to
Holiday.
see my dad. My family and I are going to stay with my father for a week
The way
over
you said
Thanksgiving.
that was-
Next week, we're going to get to see you guys on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to see all of my brothers and sisters,
Even Rob?
even Rob,
Ooh.
and their accompanying lovers and spouses and whatevers
Oh man.
for like a couple days in a row in my
Whoa.
childhood home for probably the first time in
Yeah, it's been a while.
5
probably.
years at least 5 years. But because of everyone's current situation in life, oh no, yeah. So we're visiting from out of town at my dad's house, so we'll be staying there. My brother Rob is visiting from out of town with his wife, so they'll be staying there. My other brother and my sister are also staying there because they are currently
Wow.
either purchasing a home or selling a home or something like that.
Yeah.
So not only will I be spending time with my relatives, I will be living with my relatives
Oh.
for the first time in like
Yeah.
15 years, probably.
Gang's all here.
That's when
Yeah.
you're like to all the kids, you're like, you need to go find Auntie Libby and you
Right.
need to show her what you just drew. Like, so you can just get rid of the kids and be like,
Right.
and you're going to go find
Yeah.
Uncle Rob. Like,
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to just everything that goes along with
that's
like
awesome.
seeing them like, hey, is there any coffee left? No, I drank it all.
Oh,
All right, fine. Where's the coffee? I don't know. Where's dad? I don't know. Right? Like, sort of being in this house that you lived in, but I don't know where anything is anymore. And
Do you still have like your room in
It's-
your parents' house,
I
or
think-
did they like
yeah.
immediately say, "Screw
No.
it, you're gone"?
because they have too much house. Every room that was a room is still a bedroom.
Is still a room.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
But then we get to see you guys. So we're going to come out on Tuesday.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like in my mind
We're
was like
showing
that's
up
in like 3
early.
weeks, and instead I
it's
was
next
like,
week.
"That's like
It's
next
Popping off.
week." I was
4
like,
days
"Oh,
away.
crap." I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
we're
know,
going to show
that's
up
crazy.
Get
early.
nuts.
Yeah, sounds
Keep
good.
that coffee hot. Yeah, and we'll stay as long as you'll have us. But
Sounds
you guys
good.
got any idea what we're going to play?
Do you want to
No, I
play
was
something? I'll have to think about it. We got a lot to choose from here.
I know.
Yeah, of course.
I was trying to think
We'll play
about that the
Picture
other
Perfect.
day.
Wouldn't be
We'll do the
right if
Sherlock
we didn't play
expansion.
something.
Right? Just
Oh,
we'll
yeah, that'd
play
be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one where you got to
Cool.
take a
Megan
picture
would
with your
love
phone
that.
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan
Yeah.
would like that.
that would be good.
Yeah.
But I know. I
We'll
was
do
thinking
that.
about that the other day when I realized
Ah,
it
I'm
was
looking
like
forward to
4
that.
days away.
I can't
Yeah.
wait.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh crap.
Did you sign up for any Pulse Fitness training classes while you're going to be there, Ken?
No,
Sign up
I
for-
wish. I think that's like an hour away. My sister's a
dang.
personal trainer, and I would
A
love
trainer
to
there.
work out. Yeah, they have a nice gym, but no, she teaches like a 5:45 class.
Oh, man. And it's an hour away?
Yeah, so I was like, well, that's
Ugh.
not gonna happen. But
Yeah.
she
Yep.
gets up at 3
Oh my
and
god.
drives down there and teaches. I don't know how long. Yeah,
Whoa.
No.
Yep. yep,
That's crazy.
yep.
I can't wait. I'm
That's
very
exciting.
excited. It's
I
only
know.
a few it's only a few days away.
Yeah. Well, that's why when you got sick,
few
Ben, I
days.
was kind of like, you better fucking get better.
Well, all
because I
our
swear
kids
to
got
God,
sick
like,
this last weekend, so I'm like, awesome. We ran
that's
through
good.
it.
Well, I'm still afraid with Ben. I'm just like,
Yeah.
if I get effing sick when they get, I was like, so.
Everybody was sick here. Now they're not.
I think
so
we're all
I'm
good
just at
now.
the
I
tail
We're
end of
good.
it.
I think
But I'm
we're good,
just
too.
like, I'm always so like, oh my god. Everybody who's listening, knock on wood in some
Yeah.
way that you can.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
That's
though.
it.
All right.
I'm just excited. Just happy to.
Cool.
Looking forward to that sort of movie-esque experience of every person I
We
know
should
in the same
make-
house.
We should make the kids
It's a very.
watch Jack Frost D-list with us while
We all watch it
We
together.
should.
we could
That would
do
be
it.
funny.
And we
That'd
could be like,
fun.
what the? Because I mean, it is like it's
They'll
supposed
watch
to be
it.
a kid
Yeah.
movie, right?
Sure, whatever.
Maybe we'll do that. If we're like we don't know what to do, that's what we're gonna do. We're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh
wrangle
my
everyone.
goodness.
That works.
That's good.
All right, my
Hey,
number
Ben.
one for this month. I would like to discuss with you guys the topic of related to the holiday season of gift giving.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
Oh no! Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
You
Right.
SOB.
I say that because a lot of people find gift giving rewarding, and during the holiday season, it comes up. It's a thing that they like to do. I find
It's a
gift
thing
giving.
they like to do.
I find gift giving to be anxiety inducing.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys: is it invigorating or is it stressful? I'll go first. It's stressful for me, and because I'm a bad gift giver, and I feel like
too.
I'm really bad at getting a gift. So I wrote down here: my gift is not equal to how much I care about you.
Is this like you're just trying to do a little? You're telling me now? Is that what?
Yeah.
No,
she's
I
warming you up to
I
this
wanted
is
to.
the-
She
you remember
knows
that
this. She's
podcast
well
we
aware of
did?
this.
Yeah, I remember.
Emily knows this. I continually give bad gifts. And
Yep,
it's
me
kind of
too.
one of the, we've talked about in the past, like love languages, right? And you're sort of like good at the things that you also like to get. And for me,
Of course.
well, it's nice to get a thoughtful gift. And Emily's quite thoughtful in her gift giving a lot of times. If somebody never gave me a gift, I'd never hold it against them. It's just not something that crosses my mind. And so throughout the year or whatever, I never, and this is maybe a bit self-centered thinking or admitting of being selfish, but I never see anything and think, boy, that would be great for so-and-so. It just, that thought has
I
never
would
crossed my
not
mind
admit
ever.
that out
I have
loud.
never, like,
Really? Wow.
seen anything and ever
Yeah,
thought,
see, even Ken is like,
I thought that it would be great for somebody else.
Sounds rough to live there.
And maybe
like,
maybe I'm being extreme in that case. Like obviously that's not necessarily
I don't think
true.
you are
Like
being extreme.
I've seen some things and thought, oh, it'd be fun for
It'd
this
be
or whatever. But in
fun.
general, I never am ever
Wow, that'd
thinking
be
about
fun.
what I would get somebody else, and it just
Wow.
don't. And I would love. I have every intention in the world of finding some way to show the people I care about that I care about them.
Yeah.
Sounds like you know exactly, though.
But giving
Like, to
gifts
just-
is not a way I'm ever going to be good at showing that.
Yeah.
And yet there's a whole time of the year that is about
Devoted
that.
to
And for
it,
me
yeah.
especially, because for in my family specifically, Christmas there's Christmas. Very soon after that is our eldest daughter's birthday, and then very soon after that is Emily's birthday. So there's this very like close time of
Yeah.
year that's really
Yeah.
focused on giving of gifts, and it's something I'm particularly bad at. And so I always find this time of year to be quite stressful because
makes
it's a
sense.
time that I put expectations on myself to show these people that I care very much about, that I do care. But giving gifts is just not a way I'm able to do that. And so I start freaking out about it. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve this problem. So I don't want you guys to solve my problem. What I'm curious is, like, what is your guys' experience with this time of year in gift giving? What is it like for you? And I'd like to even hear some opposites of me. Like, do you have
Some gift ideas.
positive experiences with gift giving? Like you're a very good gift giver.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
good at it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm great
I would
at
like
it.
to hear that too, because I'm not good at it. I'm not as bad as Ben, apparently. But
Yeah, like
No, I'm
Ben
terrible.
No,
didn't
what-
even
I mean,
know
what-
anyone else lived in the house with him until this time of year.
like, is it?
My
Ben talked
only
about.
thing holding me back is money. I could go
Sure, of
effing
course.
crazy.
Well, that's
you know?
universally true. But
Yeah. But
so is it just as simple as, like Ben said, he doesn't see something and think of someone, right? So I don't have that problem. I don't have that disconnect in my brain, that deeply flawed. No,
That
right?
broken
Seems
human
like an
right.
thing.
major
Some sort-
issue going on.
Like
feel
that
like
part of my brain is
everything I
connected to the
see-
rest of my brain, so I can think of other people. Yeah.
What the hell?
But I guess I don't know, because I know Megan's a good gift giver. Our friend,
Yeah.
mutual friend Lauren,
Yep.
exceptional gift giver on your level, S tier, right? But I also don't understand how you get it so right. Right?
I don't
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know though. I'm thinking of others. Like, I don't know what to say that
Yeah, but,
doesn't
like-
sound like I'm a douche. Like, in a way,
No. Like I think
I'm the best. Like,
yeah. My wife
Help
got
us
me a-
get to the bottom of this, though.
My
Own
wife
it
got
for
me
a second.
coffee cup. Yeah, let me use an
No.
example to
Yeah.
explain what I don't understand. My wife got me a coffee cup decades ago, 15 years ago, which was a coffee cup from the Lego store with Lego guys on it that says Kenny on it. It's my favorite gift of all time. I don't want a coffee cup. I like Legos when I was 10.
yeah,
And Kenny is my name. So, like, none of those things are particularly
Yeah.
attractive to me.
but
I don't know. But, like,
I
I don't know where that cup is, but I'll be pissed if I never find it again. I think I hid it so I don't break it. 'cause
so
I
you
love
don't.
It so
It's
much.
like forever.
yeah. Now it
don't
doesn't
know.
exist anymore.
I already told Ben one thing that I wanted to get him, but it was way too expensive. And it
Okay.
was a thing that I saw that was so it's a Lord of the Rings, it's a race to Mordor. So you do like you have an app,
Oh, man.
and when you run, it tracks how far you get, and when you get to each destination in the mail, you get a little
Whoa.
what's it called? Why can't I not think?
Yeah.
Metal?
Yeah, like a little medal, and the ring travels from each medal. There's a little secret compartment in each one to the next location. And it tracks where it's like, oh, it's 700 miles to this next place, and you have to
Wow.
keep track to be like, oh, I raced the whole way. But it was just too expensive for being like, well, here's a couple of medals,
Yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
I mean, that's perfect, right? Because he wants
But
to run.
Yeah.
Loves
I
Lord
really
of the Rings.
wanted
It's an
to.
ongoing goal.
Right? To be like, I went from the Shire to
But
like,
why is it that you're able to find
I don't know.
such a wonderful combination of interests and
Well, and
don't
what
know.
I've always
Then-
fallen into the trap of is that when it comes time to give gifts, and again, it's not the thought that counts. Like, I would love to show how much I care. Like, maybe the thought is not the right word, but like the amount of like,
I think that is saying the
here's
thought that
a way
counts.
to
Like,
express.
well,
No, but you're not understanding it the right way. I have every desire in the world to express how much I care about somebody. And because I'm not able to come up with a thoughtful gift for whatever reason, it's like an inability of mine to come up with something that will feel thoughtful and feel meaningful. I have always then just like thought, well, the more I care
Okay,
about
I
somebody,
gotcha.
the more expensive of a gift I'll buy.
yes,
Like
absolutely.
that me spending more money on the gift is the only way I know how to show how thoughtful I want it to be, because I don't actually have the capability to be thoughtful about gift giving.
Well,
Does that make sense?
if I may,
yeah.
I think so. To compare it here, Emily, how do you feel when you found this really cool gift? Is it like, oh, this is it? I know what this is. This
Yeah.
totally matches my expectations for the feelings I want to convey.
Yeah.
Or is it like, oh, he'd like this?
No, for me, it's like, oh my gosh, this person would love this, and it would make them feel really great if you got
Okay.
it for them.
Wow.
So I don't know. When
Cool.
I walk around, I'm like, oh my gosh, this person would love this. This would be so cool. And if you, like, I don't know. That's just when I walk around, that's what I see. So I don't know how else to tell you other than like, if I see something or hear
soul.
about something, or if if like you have a hobby you really like, and I'm like, oh, you know what this person would love? They would love this. Like, that's just,
Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
The only thing I'm ever thinking about as I'm walking around is my hobbies. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about
yourself.
other people's
I think
hobbies.
you're a selfish
We
little
got-
man.
You're right.
And-
You're absolutely right.
We got
But
as clear an answer as we'll ever get, and I'm not any closer to understanding.
I just fully understand that I just am not a good
Yeah.
person.
I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you for letting me know. It's
I actually
true.
bought something for you the other day for Christmas. You're like,
He was
well,
looking at
the
new
pressure
graphics cards.
Can we just all
yesterday.
agree? Can we just all agree not to get each other anything? And then-
Yeah, right. Let's have a skip year and just
Yeah, right.
go on vacation.
Let's
Use
have
that
a
money
skip
for-
life.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
I don't
Fine.
have any. My only advice would be think of somebody's hobby and don't do necessarily the exact hobby, but an
Right.
accessory towards it. And I feel like
Hobby,
that's
you
a
told-
great way. Yeah, I said that in the past.
Don't buy clothes,
Yeah.
buy clothes hangers.
Right.
Sure.
Or you said you said something along the lines of, if it's a hobby, if it's a work, you mentioned specifically, okay, get the luxury version of whatever they use, right?
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Your
yeah.
your wife is an accountant. Get her a dank keyboard or like
Yeah.
a big mouse pad, something that they
Something
would never
they're not
go
gonna
out
buy,
and
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when in doubt. So if we are talking about gifts though, like not like your husband, wife, significant other.
Oh yeah, somebody
But if you
else,
just have to
gosh.
get a general gift to someone you don't know.
peach
My-
candle, one peach candle.
No.
No. Oh.
My one thing I hate is if someone got me a gift that is like, here's $10 to like, if you don't know I'm gonna love it, just don't waste your money. Like, don't. But my one thing that most people like is like a food or drink. They're
Yeah.
always gonna be happy to try a food or drink of some sort.
Especially
even
if you're
like,
at a function, right?
yeah. And
Yep.
then they can nobody's gonna be mad about that. It's still thoughtful that you were like, you know what, I bet they would enjoy this and they want to try it.
That's
But
great.
don't like waste your money, like, because if you got someone a candle and they're like, I don't care about candles, like, why? Now I just have that like drawer of
Thanks
candles.
for the chore. Yeah.
Or like some weird, I don't know.
You know what
but-
a good analogy is? It's like there are people who write books because they wanted to be an author and they had stories in their head. And then there are like the people who, like, when you're in school and they're like, you have to write this paper, and you're like, all right, I'm going to try to drag it out of me, even though I am not creative in any way. It's
So
like,
you're bad at writing books too.
I'm not. No,
that what
what I'm
we're-
saying is, like, you're the author of gift giving.
I'm also
Gifts
really
just
good at
come out of
writing.
your mind, and you
Yeah,
know, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But you always
been-
do your best.
Yeah.
You get the
Gosh.
I know, it sounds like you're not even doing your best. You're not even like trying though.
Well, no, that's my point. Is like that person who's not that doesn't have stories in their head. That there's no amount of trying that's going to make it come naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think it has come naturally.
just
though. I
never-
think this is just something that you could.
that's
like,
what the author would say.
you could. No, you could be like, I'm gonna think about someone else today, and I'm gonna spend the whole day shopping for other people and
Oh,
thinking
God.
about them.
Sounds miserable.
Kill me. Yeah.
Of course, it's miserable.
Just the
but
shopping
that's not
all
the
day.
point. But like, that's not the point. It's not like I wake up and I'm like, I would love to clean the bathrooms today. But you do things because you know it makes someone else happy
Sure.
to have. So you being like, I just don't think about it, but you do. You know you don't think about it. So what I'm saying is you take a day and you go, I'm going to make a list of everyone I care about. And if I'm going to get them a gift, I'm going to go out and think about them for that one day, if that's all it, you know, and go do it.
Yeah.
You can't be like, well, I just didn't think about you, but I knew I didn't think about you. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, there we go. There's some actionable advice.
Got 'em.
I'm glad I brought it up.
Stop being a douche and go buy gifts is what the
No.
answer is.
All right, Emily, what is your number one?
Well, now I'm just saying.
Gifts. Continuing where we left
Buy
off.
gifts for
Yeah.
anyone but your husband. Okay, my number one is a movie, but it's also a holiday movie.
Ooh.
So it's just
Okay.
a recommendation, and it is the 1987 Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Yes. Perfect.
And this is a
Whoa.
Thanksgiving holiday movie. It is rated R, though.
It
so
is
just
rated
keep that,
R, man.
Keep that in
It's
mind.
rated
I think
R.
they just swear.
It's just swearing.
Right? It's
And
just swearing.
Them getting
And there's a
electrocuted.
couple of,
the
like-
skeleton.
Yeah, oh man, the skeleton.
But Steve
wanna watch
Martin
that
and
right
John
now.
Candy.
Yeah.
And it is
Let's
such
go
a
watch
good.
it.
But the other thing so when I was looking up, because I don't know when the last time we watched it, probably 10 years ago.
I watched it last year when you guys
Did
like,
yeah.
go watch it.
I feel like every
It's
year I'm like, we gotta
fantastic.
watch it.
Yeah.
But I looked up what people were reviewing, and like it says in reviews, it's like not only is it funny, but it is like kind of heartfelt and like has a like.
Yep.
Because I feel like a lot of comedy movies these days are like so over the top that you're like,
It's
you're
just
kind of like
edgy to be edgy.
Yeah, and
there's
it's
no.
not- where this has like a real story. It's
Yeah.
kind of heartfelt, but there's like it's realistic funny other than like the car scene, which is
Right.
like out of control. But it's so it's so
It's really good. It is
And-
really good.
And it's them trying to get home for Thanksgiving, and it's these two guys who don't know each other, and they're kind of trying to like hitch rides to get home. And they, of course, like, well, the one guy hates the other one, but it is such a good movie.
Let's watch that.
Highly
Yeah.
recommend
I want to
this.
watch
End
that
of
right now.
podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch
Turn
right
it
now.
on.
So that
I've been
them in the
meaning to.
car, and they're like, I
Even
don't know.
because I think Megan likes Uncle Buck, which is
Yes.
sort of a Thanksgiving movie. Same thing,
Yeah.
though. But God, I don't know what it is about getting older where these movies of
I don't know.
families or grown men just being like skewered for 90 minutes straight just to complete the simplest task. You know, it's like that home improvement comedy where I don't understand what that brand is, but
Oh,
I
man.
love it.
It is just like middle-aged.
What were we
men.
talking about the other day? Home Improvement.
Home Improvement,
Like there was
yeah.
a V6 in the dishwasher or
Yeah,
something.
they've got the washing machine in the garage, and he
It
says
like drives off.
right.
And
He
shit.
walks by with the laundry, and he's like, "I'll do the laundry, Jill," and she's like, "Oh, all right." And
Yeah.
and the thing shoots through the wall. For whatever reason, it's on wheels, right? It drives
Make
through the
any
living.
sense? You wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. It's
Oh
so good.
man, how do I watch that show? Dang.
Right? Why
It
is
was
that
on-
the one show though that
I
like
found-
is not streaming anymore?
I think I found Will watching clips of it, and it was he had a gas screwdriver, right? And Al's got the electric one, and and so it's got this tiny little thing that he's
To, like,
trying to
pull it?
pull
Yeah.
start. Yeah, and then he,
Yeah, so
he goes
good.
right through the door, right? Just falls through.
So stupid. I love it so much.
Oh, all right. Planes,
it's
Trains,
great.
and Automobiles. I
Yes.
want to watch very soon. We have
Yeah.
to.
We need to watch
We
it.
have to.
It's a must.
That's so good.
All right.
But
We'll watch
so
it
that's
tomorrow.
my
We'll make Sean watch it with
recommendation.
us.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. What an excellent number one. What a good way to wrap up our
Yeah.
list for this month. I really appreciate
I'm
that.
gonna watch that. What time is it?
Okay.
I know what time
I don't
it is.
think you have time
10:30.
right now.
Yeah.
You know what time it is? It's time
Would you
for a Would You
rather?
Rather.
Okay. I have a.
I don't have one, guys.
I have one, but I wasn't. I kind of. Well, here. Do you want? Can I start? Does that work?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's holiday related.
Excellent.
Would you rather chug a gallon of eggnog in
Oh.
15 seconds?
Oh my gosh.
So as fast as you
Assuming
can.
I can do that. Yeah. Okay.
Or eat 300 sugar cookies in 15 minutes.
Oh.
I'm going to go for eggnog and hope it's a quick death, is what I'm essentially going
Well,
for.
like you
The problem is
You
that it's
throw up.
300 sugar cookies.
The I feel like I have 3 and I'm like, I'm done for the day. Like
how fast do the sugar cookies go down? Right? Because 300 sugar cookies is going to take me hours.
well, let's think just as
15
fast
minutes,
as
it
you.
said.
It said 15 minutes. So like as
15.
fast.
Oh,
like,
okay. Or the eggnog in
Yeah.
15 seconds.
How about
Yeah.
this? Let's take the numbers
Ooh.
away. Yeah, drink a gallon of eggnog, like,
Yeah, but-
or
But
No,
the
the-
eggnog, you
I-
can't.
the
you
time
have to have that
matters.
time. Because
No.
it should be like a day for the eggnog.
no, I'm saying that to keep the times, the 15-second slam,
but just as
or
much
as
you
many
can.
sugar cookies
Yeah.
as you can eat in 15 minutes.
Yeah, but you could like go slow. It
15
needs to
minutes
be more
isn't
than.
long enough for me to be like, this is
Like
hell.
I could be like, yeah.
I don't know.
I can do eggnog.
Because you're going to
Sugar
throw up.
cookies are good though.
They're good at not if you have 300.
I'm going to say eggnog because I
Yeah.
think it's going to come out easier. I'm going to throw up. It's just coming right back
Either
out.
way, I'm throwing up.
Yeah.
So,
But sugar cookies are going to be a lot more to
I don't know.
maybe
That's-
not.
Also, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have to make a choice here. The eggnog is 15 seconds. Like,
I'm hoping
let's
it's
just get it
quick.
over with.
That's
Yeah.
a long
could really
15
could-
seconds, though.
I could really go for a sugar cookie right now, though. So I'm really tempted to be like
Yeah, but
sugar
like one,
cookie, but I don't know that I want 300 sugar
Yeah.
cookies. Like, I don't know. Eggnog, I guess.
All right. Well, next D list, I'll bring a gallon of eggnog, and
I'm not gonna slam
we
it.
can slam it.
I like eggnog.
I don't know.
I don't
last
think I
time
want to
had
drink a
eggnog.
gallon.
I don't think I want a gallon of anything,
Right.
like
Right.
let alone eggnog. But
I don't think I think it's a dead match. I don't think it matters. This
I
sucks.
think you're throwing up either way.
what
yeah,
about?
you're barfing for
I
sure.
just saw-
I'd rather throw up eggnog
I
than
just
sugar
saw this
cookies.
one on the list. Would you rather your hair always smells like turkey or chimney smoke?
Chimney
Turkey.
smoke.
Chimney smoke is so like potent though.
Where someone like is sleeping next to you and they're like, oh
Right.
gosh. Like,
Yeah,
You always
I'm
smell like a
thinking like
campfire.
right.
remember
I'm
when we used to
thinking,
go to
yeah.
the DT And the next
yeah,
day,
that would
which
be
was,
jacket.
it was a bar in college for everyone else.
You had
And
to
the next
wash
day, you'd be like,
everything.
what is that smell? And then you're like,
Yeah.
it's me. I'm
Yeah,
the smell.
it's
And
my
that's because
skin.
you could just smoke inside back in the day, guys.
That was a thing.
You could
in
smoke
2003.
inside. So it was like you walked in and you like dusted through the cloud up to the bar and whew. But,
Yeah.
So I think I have to go with turkey. I'd rather be a little turkey
I
than
kind of want to
Yeah,
smell like a
turkey
chimney,
boy.
I gotta say.
okay.
Man, I don't know.
All right, would you rather be dropped off in the middle of a desert or wake up in the middle of a haunted mansion?
I thought you were gonna say middle of a desert. So wait, dropped
Say
off
it
is
again?
like I just gotta.
Would you rather get
back home?
dropped off in the middle of a desert or wake up in the middle of a haunted mansion?
But I can just leave the mansion.
Mansion.
If you can get
Yeah,
to,
'cause
if
I'll
you
just
can get out
leave.
of it, sure. Maybe
mean
the ghosts
if,
lock
like,
it.
if-
I don't know.
That's
It's
true.
haunted. It's
well,
the middle of the
I'm gonna
night and it's a haunted
I'm
mansion.
gonna admit the mansion would be Spooksville, but
Like, picture it's as big as like Casper's mansion. Like, you don't even know where the door is. You woke up here.
well,
Sure.
desert is I'm like dead though.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
will
true.
die out
But it's not spooky.
Okay.
Like, it gets scary slowly. You know, you're not. You know, it's
I'm
not
still
like
gonna take my chances in the mansion.
Chubby, Larry, and whatever popping their heads in, spooking you.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What are
take
Casper's uncles? I can't remember their
I don't
names. Fatso,
Shitty
something.
and
Big Nose, and
Yeah.
Cubicle or
I
something.
don't remember.
probably like some subtly racist thing that was,
I'm gonna look.
you know, like
Yeah. Blackface.
So you're
Fatso,
picking
Larry,
Haunted
and-
Mansion.
Yeah.
Alright.
oh no, are you wait? I'm sorry. Did you just say that one of the ghosts' name was Blackface?
Because you said it was racist.
Subtle, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I guess not subtle.
yeah. And he would like maybe he stuck his head in the chimney or something.
Right. He's
And they're
always
like,
covered
oh,
in
that,
blackface.
Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh, like right
Oh
away.
my God.
That'd be horrible. Fatso stinky.
That's actually not that. And
A stretch.
Stretch.
What a weird.
All right. Well, that wasn't very challenging. You guys all picked Haunted Mansion.
Well, I'm
Desert,
in
you're
the
dead.
desert. I'm like.
I
you're-
guess it's hard.
Like we've
it's
talked
hard
about
to
before, I'm
comprehend.
convinced I couldn't survive any scenario.
I don't. What, like
then
Death
why-
Valley drop
Yeah.
off? No.
The problem is it's very hard to imagine what an actual haunted mansion would be versus like
Yeah.
actual desert is like, well, I die.
Talking like the walls turn to blood and like
Yeah.
what level
Maybe.
of.
Whatever's going to get you to pick desert.
Oh wait, I before Ken goes because this like list I screenshotted. It's kind of dumb, but would you rather be one of Santa's workshop elves or a 13-inch walking, talking nutcracker for the rest of your life?
Santa's
Oh my God.
Workshop Elf or a walking.
The
talking
Nutcracker. because
13-inch nutcracker.
pretty
Can you-
sure
can you-
Santa's elves are slaves, right? They just make
Can I at
toys
least
year-round.
be a walking, talking
14-inch
wisecracker? I'm a wisecracker. Like I just always
call it
yeah,
like
I'm
do
thinking-
jokes.
This is very much like a Toy Story character, right? You're sentient.
true.
You're
Right.
But do you have to move like a nutcracker?
oh
like,
yeah.
you're just like
you just
rah, rah,
bounce
rah, like-
on the.
like yeah.
He's on a thing.
I go to be an elf.
But the
At least
elves
I
are
can
very
try to
happy,
escape.
right? They enjoy.
I don't want to be a nutcracker
I
forever.
sound like I'm like the head of a slave. They
No.
enjoy this, right? Like when it's
Oh, they love it.
Haven't you seen
love
the
it.
Santa Claus? They
Love
get
it.
like hot chocolate. They get to hang out with Judy. Like I don't know. It seems
is that her
alright.
name? That like the main
Yeah, the
girl elf
big
or
elf.
whatever.
Yeah.
What was the big elf guy's
Bernard.
name?
Oh, he was such a dickhead. I hated that guy.
He was a jerk. He was a jerk to new Santa. And what
Yeah.
was that about? You're brand new at being Santa, and he was like, "Get with the goddamn
Well,
program."
he killed
Like,
the
was
previous
such a-
Santa. Like I'm sure Bernard was like suspicious, but it's
Yeah, but
written
this
in
is
the
not the
Santa
first
Claus
time it-
that he doesn't have a choice
This
but
is
to
not-
follow this new murderous Santa. He wasn't happy about it,
Our
obviously.
legal,
What's he gonna
our
do?
legal expert on the Santa Claus.
I hate how, like,
Like he's
Tim
begrudgingly
Allen.
following through with
But
his orders.
Tim Allen is like, what's going on? He's like, geez, do you not get it, buddy? Like,
Don't
he's
you get
being
it?
such
You just murdered
a
my... Well, Ken's
jerk.
gone.
Ken disappeared. He said, F this, I'm
He
out
hated
of
it.
here.
As soon as we started talking bad about the Santa Claus, I'm out.
We saw
You
you
sound great
pull
now.
the cord.
Sorry, what was Blackface Elf or
How much
Blackface
we
the
hate
Ghost?
Bernard.
Bernard, yeah, that guy sucks. Especially since every new Santa, like this is how they come in. So regardless of him
They're
killing
gonna
the
be
other
confused.
Santa, like you still got to put him through orientation.
yeah.
I don't-
And instead, he's like, "Hey, douchebag!" Like he's such a jerk.
We don't know that this isn't the first time that the Santa Claus has ever have to have been executed, and that
It
Bernard
must be.
has been best friends with this guy for
No,
centuries. He was
but
just killed by this man.
It happens enough
And
that
he is
they
being
made
forced.
a business card for it. They were like, "Well, this has been happening. We need to notify the next guy."
It's a requirement of
Yeah,
the
my
clause.
takeaway was that this happened often. That's
A
why
lot.
they brought in the
The
experts.
Santas
the legal
regularly
experts.
Someone
die.
made in business.
That's
card.
messed
Yeah.
up.
I don't think Santa lives
I don't.
forever. Yeah, I think it's just a normal guy who gets,
Yeah.
bound by law to.
It was kind of weird. Like nobody cared that old Santa was gone.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else can't last forever? This podcast. Let's
Wait,
wrap it up
Did
there.
you do your? Who? Someone has one more.
I
no,
got
Ken.
one.
Ken
Oh,
has
Ken's
one.
got one. Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
Let's,
I did like
music.
4.
Back.
let's put it back on. I am so sorry about that.
I kept doing it. I'm sorry.
Would you rather get a paper cut every time you touch paper,
Fuck.
or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Well, an
I
increasingly
guess the paper cut.
infrequent
this
experience
already?
is touching paper.
Every time
less
you
and
touch
less.
your keyboard or your
Yeah.
phone, you get a paper cut. Don't ask me how it happens.
That's more fair than because I
Bite your
eat a lot.
tongue. Right. I eat all the time. Yeah.
I'm gonna still go with the paper cut
Oh my
with
God.
whatever. I'm not saying I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
How hard am I biting my tongue? Like
Moderate.
bleeding?
No, moderate.
I could do that probably easier.
It's
No,
also the paper cuts are in a different spot each time, obviously, and so is the tongue
paper
bite.
cuts last forever.
Right.
Tongues heal really fast.
I'm gonna go paper cuts because you could just bandage that bad boy and
Yeah, but
Get
it's
on
so
with it.
hurt.
Do you think, like you get sort of trained to like you're so afraid to touch,
No.
you know it's coming, and you touch it and it's and then the same thing with like the tongue. Are you like afraid to take that first bite because you know
Yeah.
it's coming?
you just drink water
Yeah, I
for the
think I'm
rest
gonna
of
do
your
the
life.
paper cut,
I'm doing paper
and I'm
cuts.
gonna avoid everything in life.
Yeah.
I dictate all my notes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll find
Yeah.
a way around that, but I have to eat,
That's
and I
true.
don't want it.
I don't want to
That's a
bite
good
my
call.
tongue. I don't want to be afraid of eating.
That's
I don't
yeah,
want to
Yeah.
be afraid
That's why
of
we're
eating.
picking
Exactly.
paper cut. Yeah.
yeah. We're paper cut.
I gotta go with paper cut.
Yeah, paper cuts suck though. They're the
I haven't had one
worst.
in
Yeah,
I don't
and
know,
I'm
yeah, I
like
know.
spooked now.
20 years. Yeah. I got paper all around me. I don't want to touch it.
Okay,
All right,
that
all
was
right.
a good one.
That was a good one. I like that one. And I
Ben, yours was dumb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but that's
good.
I wrote a huge list of would you rather's like a year and a half ago, and I've gotten
Well,
down
these
to
are
the worst
custom
ones.
made. Nice.
I really have run out of. There's
Time to
nothing
get
good
back
left
at it.
here. Would you rather have blue hair or red hair? That's like all I've got left
The
on the
hell?
list here.
Yeah.
Like we've run out.
Okay,
Would you?
wait.
One was about
Would-
like your work schedule. Would you rather work 4 10s or 5 8s? Like nobody wants me to ask that question.
Yeah.
Okay, and
failed.
that does wrap up episode number 51 of Date Night Thrice. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you want to see this live, or if you want to see a video of this, you can go to our YouTube
Live.
channel.
We're at the Fox Theater in Detroit.
The videos of the podcast are up on YouTube. You go to the Date Night Dice YouTube channel. If you want to see us live, you can tune in the first Thursday of every month where we do our D-list movie reviews live on Twitch and YouTube. Those also go up on YouTube. If you'd like to support Date Night Dice or the Date Night Thrice podcast or the D-List movie reviews or any of us, we do have a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Date Night Dice. Is that correct? I sure hope so. There's one out there
Sure.
somewhere. We use that money to pay for our hosting fees and D-List movie rentals. So thank you to all of our patrons. It's very helpful. And until next time, from everybody here,
Keep it together.
happy holidays,
the
happy
Date Night Dice
Thanksgiving,
Studios.
and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.